Hello, everyone, and welcome to our live match reaction show on Football Tour Podcast. My name is Ozzy, and I'm your host for this evening. As you are all aware, we were supposed to have this show last night, but due to Salah's Bomba, we had to postpone it and discuss what occurred yesterday, which, as you gather, we'll touch on today as well. But let's talk about what happened in terms of on the football pitch, and that is Liverpool drawing against Leeds United at Elland Road. So what we'll do during the show, we will do a quick match review, Mm. discuss the Salah Bomba as well. Um, I'll read some of your comments, and then we'll also do the player ratings today as well. So let's talk about the game in a bit more detail. Now, in terms of the first half, we actually started the game positive, in my opinion. You had Curtis Jones having the first effort towards goal, smashing the crossbar. Szoboszlai was close himself, scoring from a free kick that went just over the bar. He then, moments later, produced a free kick and put the ball on a plate for Van Dijk, who heads the ball just over the bar. For me, should have scored it. That was a point blank range for our captain. Gakpo had a couple chances, but wasn't decisive in the crucial moments. Then in the second half, we broke the deadlock. A mistake from Roden, who gives the ball away. But thankfully for us, we capitalized, and Ekitike goes through on goal and finishes clinically to make it 1-0. And literally moments later, we make it 2-0. Fantastic cross from Conor Bradley on that right hand side. Ekitike didn't get the cleanest of contacts on the ball, but he was brave and got that bit of luck that strikers need in order to make it 2-0. Now, without really playing aggressive, we were 2-0 up. That was the time to be smart, to control the game and manage it correctly for the remaining 40 odd minutes that was happening at the time. First thing Slot does is substitute Verts and brings on McAllister. Now, for me, that was a bad call. I'm not going to pinpoint any blame on McAllister as such because he wasn't at fault, but then he came on, and I think the team sort of lost that energy up top that Verts was providing. For me, what Slot should have done was bring on Endo earlier, pair him up with Gravenberch, and then give Curtis Jones a bit more of a free road that Wirtz was occupying. That would have given us a better balance and protection for the back line. And I said it during the watch along. 2-0 is a very nervy scoreline in a game. Sounds silly to say, but it really is. Because when the opposition get a goal back, especially if they're the home team, the momentum will shift, and that's exactly what happened. Of course, the manner in how we conceded the first goal was ridiculous. What on earth was Konate doing? There was no need to dive into Nonto like that. He wasn't going anywhere. He had very little space to have any impact. And the more they showed the replay, I just knew it was going to be a penalty for Leeds. I was annoyed at the time when the ref announced, because obviously he reviewed the incident on the screen and then announced it on the mic. Um, and he basically referred to Konate's challenge as as a careless, sorry. And in reflection of that, I actually don't think it was wrong, but when it happened, I was quite annoyed by the referee's statement there. So penalties awarded for Leeds United. Calvert Lewin steps up and smashes the ball past Allison to make it 2-1. Now, some fans will say maybe Allison should have done better because the ball wasn't too far away from him. I'll give the attacker the benefit of the doubt because for me, he hits it with real power and Allison was just not able to react. I spoke about this in the match preview. Leeds United fans are very vocal, especially at Elland Road, and that goal gave the crowd and the team a huge lift. And literally moments later for them, they equalised through Stack. But look, credit where it's due. Liverpool did react and scored the third goal through Szoboszlai. And for me, that goal should have been the winner. Slot brought on Endo and Isak, which basically meant that we were going to flood our midfields and, in regards to Isak, play on the counter. But the way we conceded that final goal was pathetic. Firstly, where did those extra 9 minutes come from? That didn't make sense to me at the time. But let's not focus on that because that is not the reason why we conceded the goal. For the equaliser, Konate ducks from the ball like he didn't want to ruin his waves in his hair. Then Gravenberch, who was behind him, was just not focused, didn't react quick enough, and unfortunately wasn't able to close the shot. Now, I've been very vocal about the coach in recent weeks and how I believe that we need to make a change. And today, what should I say? Yesterday, I think we have to look at the players with a microscope because after we took the lead at 2-0, I believe that the team took the foot off the gas. Now, I don't know if that's because Verts left, because normally he's, you know, been proactive in his pressing in recent games. But previously, I've noticed our tempo seems to drop whenever he is substituted. Today, I don't think it was the case as such. To an extent, it was, but not completely. I believe that the players just got complacent, being 2-0 up. And let's give credit to our opponents, Leeds United, for showing a real fight and responding to the crowd because the atmosphere certainly helped them gain a point. They were their 12th man. But for Liverpool, this is simply unacceptable. We are a very soft team. We have no backbone. Yesterday, we showed we don't have a winning mentality. Being 2-0 up felt like unfamiliar territory for us. I'm very worried about this team. And I stand by what I've been saying for weeks. Arne Slot, for me, is just not good enough to take this team forward. There is clearly a disconnect between the coach and the players. We are not aligned, whether it's tactics or a togetherness as a team. A change needs to be made because if we stick with him, newsflash, these type of results will continue, and we're not going to be climbing up that table. We'll be too much mid-table like we are right now. And after spending around 450 million on players, that is not the outcome that any of us was expecting. And the funny thing is, we still need a few more players. There are a lot of cracks in our team, and they need to be filled soon, in my opinion. But not under this coach. I don't have the faith that he can turn it around. So FSG, I need you guys to be bold and make that decision for the benefit of this football club and change the first team coach because this can't continue. That performance yesterday was pathetic. It feels like a defeat, just like it did against Sunderland during the week as well. But today, oh, should I say yesterday, we were winning 2-0. The players dropped their heads, and I feel like everything just fell apart from there on. And then look, that's the result. And then we saw this Salah dropping a bombshell. Now let's talk about it. It kind of came out of the blue, came unexpected for me. I'm sure it did for you guys as well. But let's get into it in more detail. Firstly, I will say this. I don't think he should have. I don't think he should have expressed himself in so much detail after the game in this interview. For me, it wasn't needed. Uh, it doesn't look good from the outside because he still represents Liverpool Football Club, and these things should remain private and not for the whole world to see. However, I think his reaction is built up of frustration, and he probably couldn't bottle it anymore. Honestly, I don't believe Salah will be a Liverpool player in January. I think he'll be sold very soon. I think there's been discussions behind the scenes, and it could have been the catalyst to this interview where he thought, I've got nothing to lose now. I'm just going to let everything out and let people know what's happened. And it wasn't just because he didn't get minutes against Leeds United. For me, it's a bit deeper. I think he's assessed and understood that these owners will back the coach before a player, which, if I'm being honest with you, is the right approach. Because if the club didn't have that stance and they backed the player, then it will be evident that player power is a thing at Liverpool, and that's not really within our culture. It's no secret that there's been interest from Saudi in recent days. I thought it was all paper talk, but it looks like there could be something within those stories. And if this is the way Salah leaves, I don't think it tarnishes his legacy, but for me, this is not the way a club legend should depart. It should be done on his terms, and he should not be forced by the powers within the club. So I really don't want to see Salah leave, but unfortunately, I don't think there's any coming back from what happened yesterday. What annoys me is that Salah should not be the one leaving. It should be Arne Slot. Now, according to sources, Liverpool are furious with Mohamed Salah's words. They want a public apology from the player. Now, let's be frank, Salah will not be doing any public apologies, in my opinion. So, therefore, it means he's definitely leaving the club in January. And according to Paul Joyce, Slot will remain as Liverpool coach as he has the complete backing of Liverpool owners, which for me, that is a ridiculous thing. Mm. But hey, that's the current situation right now. Um, and you already know my stance on Slot. He needs to go. He's not good enough for Liverpool Football Club. Yes, he's a title-winning manager, but he's been found out this season. He's shown that his man management skills stink or they're non-existent. From the way he treated Kwanzaa on his first Premier League game as Liverpool coach, to highlighting Trent's weaknesses as a player, publicly speaking about Kanate, throwing shade at Chiesa at any given opportunity this season. The list goes on. There's a lot of examples to say. So for me, this is not what a leader should do. You don't throw your players under the bus. Jurgen Klopp never did that when he was a manager. As a coach or manager, however you want to, represent your job title, you're supposed to take pressure away from your players so they can focus on improving and performing better without any outside noise or pressure. That shows me that this man is literally just a coach and only focuses on training players. There is no human or interpersonal side to his role. And for Liverpool Football Club, that is not good enough. Even in press conferences, he talks absolute nonsense. Recently, he said that we don't have a profile like Jacob Murphy in our team to get the best out of Isak. For all we know, Salah has taken huge offense to that comment because Slot has basically just said that our current right winger is not good enough. So for me, this coach has lost all the credibility that he had previously. When you publicly highlight our weaknesses and expose it to the world, that's something you just don't do. He has no integrity and puts the blame on his own players and even says things like the opponent's goals were not from real creation or just doesn't want to be held accountable or doesn't want to blame his tactics in terms of why those goals were conceded. For me, he's lost the plot. And quite frankly, he's lost the dressing room a long time ago. So I'm still very surprised that he's still here. Um, but, I always try and keep it 100 with you guys. Can I be honest? No one's going to like to hear this. But I don't think Slot will get sacked this season. I just have a feeling it won't happen. If we continue to lose back-to-back games, for example, then the club would have no choice but to dismiss him, especially if we keep dropping down the table and the points gap gets larger from the top. That's when it would occur. But if we're still gathering points, you know, I don't think the result against Sunderland and Leeds is good enough. But for them, it might be, two good points. So if we're still gathering points and we are in touching distance of top four, this coach will remain at the club. And another big point, we know the Salah situation. I think he will leave the club. FSG would not allow Slot to leave before Salah, as that would give Salah's comments some sort of validation about the coach and also validate what us fans have been saying about Arne Slot this season. But look, I'll be honest with you, FSG are playing with fire if they stick with Arne Slot. I think the club should dismiss the coach as soon as possible and bring in Steven Gerrard as interim manager for the rest of the season. He may not be the best tactical manager out there, but I think he would be the right person to galvanize the squad and bring that good feel factor back to the club again. Then in the summer, we can explore the market and point the right manager who will then be regarded as the long term appointment. In terms of updates from today, the current situation is that Liverpool are facing a big decision on Monday morning, whether Mohamed Salah travels with the team to Italy to face Inter Milan at the San Siro. Liverpool Chiefs are still deciding whether to punish Salah for his comments to the media. He was present today at the AXA training centre, so let's see what unfolds tomorrow. Now, before we move on and do the player ratings, let me go through some of the comments with you guys. Ozan, big up Ozan as always. He says the fan base has gone into full blown civil war. Ozzy, very sad to see. I hear it, Ozan. I've seen it quite a bit online today. There is a split, and yeah, there is no sort of unity amongst the fans, which is sad to see. But fortunately, that's just how things have transpired right now. And one of these two guys, maybe even both, will have to pay the price at some point this season. Abdul says, hi, Odin chat. Assalamu alaikum. How are you? Walaikum salam, Abdul. I'm doing good. I hope you are well. He said, like and subscribe. Sack slot, sell Salah, and something needs to change and improve. What's going on in camp? Results not good and performance is bad. You'll never walk alone. I agree with you. It might come to a point where both of these guys go. Um, I've also comments to say no fight, no toughness, no physicality, and not good enough. Questionable signings, wrong profile players, performances not good, and bad results, leaking in goals. Ball, big up Ball as always. He said Edwards is a prick. Abdul says, why isn't Gakpo, McAllister, Konate, and Van Dijk not getting dropped as well? So, in terms of the players you've listed, of course, in this scenario, that it's a bit of a different one because the players don't play in Salah's position. Like Van Dijk, Konate, agree, they should be dropped. But we don't have enough cover. We've only got Joe Gomez, and right now he's covering for right back. So, at this stage, unfortunately, those two aren't droppable. Even if they perform terrible, they will start in the next game. McAllister, I feel like we have enough numbers to rotate the player, but the manager or the coach doesn't choose to do that. The Gakpo one is the one that annoys me the most because I think Gakpo has been poor this season. And people are going to say, well, look at the numbers. He's still done a respectable return. But I don't watch football. I don't just base my football knowledge on stats. I watch football games. For me, it's an eye test thing before stats. And he's just not been good enough this season. I even go as far to say I think Gakpo has been worse than Salah this season. So why hasn't Gakpo been dropped? He won't be. He's the coach's favorite. So this is Salah's frustration in terms of other players not performing, but they stay in the team and they continue to play week in week out. And he's been made into a scapegoat. He's been compared to a player like Jacob Murphy, who's not even anywhere near his level. So that is disrespectful to Mohamed Salah, where you earmarked a right winger. And of course, that's Salah's position to say that, we haven't got a profile to provide a service for Isak. So this is coming from the coach. I do feel like this coach is sort of the rotten apple in our batch. I just feel like he's not good for this club at all. Abdul says owners, players, Richard Hughes, Michael Edwards, backroom star, board, and head coach all to blame for results and performance. Something needs to change. He continues to say we need two centre backs, CDM, and two wingers. What's going on with Isak, Verts, Frimpong, Kirkis, all our current FC players shocking performance? Well, Frimpong's injured, so no point in mentioning him. Kirkis has just been hot and cold all season. Verts has improved, if I'm being honest with you, in recent games, and Isak has shown some level of improvements as well. Ozan says, I'm convinced Konate is working against us, Aussie. That wouldn't surprise it. The way he's woeful for large parts of the games and this season, would be surprised. Ozan says, Slots, my management skills are awful, Aussie. They are. They absolutely stink. Yeah, I was thinking of a comparison, but the thing is, Most managers in the league actually have better man management skills. He's probably one of the worst in the league right now. Yeah. Abdul says Mohamed Salah situation. Unprofessional comments have gave Arne Slot time, sell Salah and sack Slot. Liverpool current players are to blame for results. So in terms of Salah's comments, my assumption is that he's been told he's going to be sold. That's just the guessing. That's just the guess I have right now. I don't have anything to confirm that information there, but I'm going based off what comments he made yesterday. I'm trying to read in between the lines. And I'm not saying Salah's an angel and he's never vocal because when he needs to speak, he will speak, especially when he's frustrated about a certain situation. But the way he spoke yesterday, it felt like enough was enough. That was the tone I got from him, and he was just like, I need to let everything be heard. I need to air it out. And I don't feel he even cares about the consequences anymore because maybe he's on the verge of leaving anyway. Maybe Edwards and Richard Hughes have decided to cash in on him in January because there's a lot of interest from Saudi. And I don't think that's a choice from for Salah. I think if it was down to him, he would like to remain at Liverpool and potentially even retire at Liverpool. But the club are kind of forcing him out. And when the coach gives you the cold shoulder, doesn't explain anything to you in terms of why you've not been selected, there's clearly an agenda against the player. So I know a lot of fans will say he was wrong to come out and say what he said. I agree. I'm not defending the manner of what he did yesterday. I don't think it's right to reveal inside knowledge, inside news, or inside information like that to the public. It puts us as a club in a bad light. You already see there's a division in the fan base. We all split with our opinions, and it's just added more issues to already a situation where we have a lot of problems as it is. He probably thought maybe it, puts the coach's position in more danger. I don't think it does. I think in this situation, the coach will always have the vote of the owners. The player will not have more power than the coach, in my opinion. At certain clubs, it might be different. At Liverpool, that is not the case. That we always hold our managers in very high regards. So that wasn't going to be the case. So it's just a shame how things are unfolding right now because I don't see him returning to the team. We've got Inter Milan on Tuesday and then we've got Brighton on Saturday, and then he's off to AFCON. He won't be involved in those two games. Whether he's in the squad or not, he won't play. So the performance against Sunderland for me will probably be the last one that we'll see in a Liverpool shirt. And that's sad because he doesn't really get a proper send off. He doesn't say bye to the fans. He doesn't do it on his terms. He's almost being forced out to leave. So yeah, very, very sad times for me because this is not how a club legend like Salah should be treated. And the way people have turned on him today as well, I'm being very surprised with some of the reaction from fans, whether they are in favor of the coach or to say things like, the club comes first. 100% agree. The club always comes first. And I've said that numerous times. There is no player bigger than the club. But we also have to appreciate what Salah has done for the club. That can't be disrespected. And some will say, well, what about his performance this year? He's been poor. Our whole team's been poor, bar one or two players. Let's be honest. Everyone's been terrible this season. He's not the reason why we are currently eighth or ninth in the league. It's a bigger problem than that. So he can't be made as the scapegoat. He's not the reason why we're so poor this season. But that's what it's been presented as. So he is right. He has been thrown under the bus. But fans aren't seeing it that way. And some fans are, you know, looking at Slot like he's untouchable. He is touchable. What makes him untouchable? Just because he won the league title? There's only so much credit that you can, continue to go on with. For me, he's in overdraft right now, if we're talking credit. So the amount of losses that we've suffered this season, you can combine seasons under Jurgen Klopp, we've not had that many defeats. He's done it in a short spell of like 2, 3 months. That's not acceptable. And he doesn't look like he's a coach that is going to rectify things. He's very quick to blame players, put them under the bus, and just put the focus on luck. That the opponents, they didn't really create those chances. It was either individual mistakes or it came out of nowhere. But then you've also gone on to say that we can't handle low blocks and long balls, and we have no solutions for that. So for me, he's losing a lot of credibility as a coach. A lot of credibility. And let's see what happens. The most likely person to leave the club out of these two, unfortunately, will be Mohamed Salah. Slot might still be around until the end of the season. I don't want it to be the case. You guys know how I feel. But I think he might remain. So let's see what happens. Abdul says Gakpo is teacher pet or Dutch player and coach together. I'd probably go with more of a teacher pet, to be fair. It's not just the Dutch thing. I think it's more of a teacher pet thing, to be fair. Felix, big up Felix. He said, is it just me or did the referee really favour us and we still couldn't bottle it to a promoted team? The referee favouring us? How? I disagree with that. What did he give us in favour of? I didn't feel like this was a game where the decision went against us or anything like that, but in favour for us? No, I totally disagree with that. Well, so sorry for going on just now. Big up yourself. No, it's all good. Bo. Um, Honestly, this is one of the worst seasons ever. It is. I was going to compare it to the Hodgson as a that was dark times as well, but this feels a little worse for me because of what we achieved last season and where we are as a club. You know, under Hodgson, we were a team on the downward spiral. We weren't an elite team. We weren't a team on the up. We lost so many players before Hudson came through. Torres was on the verge of leaving. Mascherano was on the verge of leaving. We had a lot of players that weren't, you know, fully there or committed to the cause. And we then our squad in terms of quality was just not good enough either. It was actually one of the worst squads we ever had, in my opinion. We had players that should not even be wearing a Liverpool shirt, let alone representing the club. So for this season, just feels a bit off. And the fella on the left, for me, is to blame. But it looks like he's got the backing of the owners, which is incorrect in my opinion. Ozan says, can't believe that only 7 months ago we were on Mount Everest of football. Life comes at you fast, yeah. Musa, big up Musa, he says, if Salah leaves in January, where could he go? The most likely destination would be in Saudi. The club that's registered an interest recently is Al Ittihad. So that's a team that will pursue him. But I think if everyone knows that Salah's available, all the big teams in Saudi will be after him. So I think Saudi would be his most likely destination. Can't see him staying in the league. I think Saudi will be where he ends up going, to be fair. Bo says thoughts on the club backing Slot through this horrendous season. I can't understand it. I can't really agree with it at all. I think it's ridiculous that they are still backing Slot blindlessly, in my opinion. The only reason they're sticking with is because he won the league title with us last season. And it would seem weird to sack your manager who's just won a league title. The thing is, we can't just look at the past, we have to look at the present season. We have suffered far too many defeats and we've been a shadow of ourselves. You can't spend 450 million and get worse. That makes zero sense in any shape or form. So why are they not looking at him as the weak link or the problem here? And I'm not saying the players deserve to be, scotch free here. They are also held accountable, but then again, the tactics, the instructions, the energy, it all comes from the coach. So if he's not able to motivate these players, he's the wrong man for the job. It's simple as that. And he's lost the dressing room. It doesn't matter what tactic we play, what formation we play, what personnel is on the pitch. These players are not going to perform for this coach. And the goals that we scored in the last 2, 3 games, they've been by luck. They weren't well executed goals, they were luck. The 2 goals against Leeds United, that was luck. The first one was a mistake from the defender. Second one was a great cross from Bradley, but the ball got ricocheted onto Ekitike's knee and then rolled into the back of the net. That's luck. Yes, you have to create your luck and be in those positions. I get it. I agree with that. But it wasn't goals that we created out of the blue or anything like that. So I said earlier in the show, I don't think this manager will get sacked this season. I think he'll be until the end of the season. Then they will review his performance, and then they'll take it from there. So good luck to our Liverpool fans because we've got a long road ahead. We're only in December, and this season feels like it's been such a long drag. But we have to keep going. Unfortunately, if we're going to support this team. And I'll be honest with you, it's not going to get better. If this man remains, it's going to get worse, or it's going to be like it is right now. Where you draw, lose, lose, draw, lose. It's gonna be like that. We're not gonna win a lot of games this season. Ah, dark times for Liverpool. Ozan says, bro, any Saudi club would make Salah their highest paid player, even over CR7. The Arab leagues are undefeated. It's facts. If they know he's available, it's not just gonna be 1 or 2 clubs. They will all try their best to try and get him on board and blow the waters in terms of salary, finances, anything but because Mohamed Salah has a larger appeal than a CR7. People are like, well, that's a stupid thing to say. I'm not talking about from a footballing point of view. I'm talking from a marketing perspective. This guy is one of the most popular people in the Arab world, whether it's from the Middle East or North Africa. He is one of the most popular figures in the Middle East and in the Arab world altogether. So when you've got that kind of sportsman available, you can only imagine shirt sales, merchandise, everything, business partnerships, revenue, advertisement, all of that jazz. Mm. He would be a cash cow for them. He really would be. So that is not something you just pass by. You have to make sure you get him because it benefits the club in the long term. So yeah, I do believe Saudi is the most likely destination for Mohamed Salah. Bo says is absolutely crazy. This is worse than Hodgson. Real Madrid lost 2-0 at home to Celta. Did they really? Because I have heard that if Real Madrid lose a game, Xabi Alonso's position might be in a bit of a predicament. If that is the case, would we begin Arne Slot sacked and then bring in Xabi Alonso? That would be the dream. I know I've been saying Steven Gerrard, but if I could choose any manager in the world right now, I think he would be top of my list in Xabi Alonso. So let's see what happens with that. Well, that's an interesting moment there. As I said, Ozzy, how satisfied or disappointed would you be if somehow we secure Conference League or Europa League position and win 0 trophies? No. um, I would be very disappointed if we qualified for the Conference League Europa League wouldn't be the worst. It's not a favorite competition of mine or anything like that, but still better than nothing, I guess. But Conference League, for me, that's not acceptable. To be honest with you, um, I win zero trophies. No, I'm not expecting us to win trophies this season. This season's a write-off. I'm not saying that in a positive way, but I'm just saying that look, expectations are low. We can't even climb out of the table. We can't even get into top four right now. So trophies is not even a discussion at this stage. Um, so no, not for me. Boss says Gerard until Alonso gets sacked. Well, if he gets sacked this week, then we don't need to get Gerard. That's my point. That's the rumor that I've heard in the last few weeks where if he loses, he's out the door. That's the notion from certain Real Madrid outlets. So if they don't want him, we'll have him. Then Gerard to assistant. I don't think Gerard will accept an assistant role with Xabi Alonso as the main manager. On paper, it would sound great, but I don't think that would be a reality. I think Steven Gerrard would rather test the waters, gain more experience as a number one or as a manager elsewhere, and then maybe further down the line, when he's a bit more well equipped, he could then become Liverpool manager. But I don't think he'll come in as an assistant. That's just my thoughts there. All I said, that head shake tells me all I need to know. Yeah, I didn't know how to say it politely, but yeah, not acceptable for me. But also, Emmanuel Slot said to me that he hasn't heard of the Salah injury. Nah, he's talking rubbish. The whole world's heard it. Musa said currently Madrid is losing 2-0. Yeah, that's what Bob mentioned. He actually said they've lost. So I think the game's concluded now. So yeah. JK said best bro, hope you're cool. Big up JK. I'm doing okay considering what's happening with Liverpool. But yeah, hope you're good as well. Uh so let's move on and do the player ratings. It's gonna be a quick one. Let's get rid of this ad. So yeah, let's start with Alison Becker. Do you know what? The match just feels like such a distant memory in terms of what's transpired since last night. I've got to try and think about what happened. From what I remember, I think Alisson did fine. I don't think he made any sort of huge mistakes. In terms of the goals, can't really say he was at fault for anything. The penalty, maybe he could have done better because it was not hit in the corner. It's more centrally positioned. But I think Cavalier hit with real power there. So I can't really fault him for that. So therefore, I'm going to go for a 6 out of 10 for Allison. Bradley came on, and I think he started off a bit off the pace. You know, he was getting beat quite a bit on that left hand side, but as the game went on, he improved, got into a better rhythm, provided the assist for Ekitike for the second goal. So I thought it was a good performance, and it was good to see him back after being out for a few weeks. And yeah, let's be frank, we need him in the coming weeks. So for me, 6 out of 10 performance for Conor Bradley. Canate, I'll be honest with you guys, before the penalty, in terms of, him sliding and fouling Nonto in the box, he actually wasn't bad. He looked quite dominant, looked assured on the ball. Didn't feel like Canate was having a bad game, but that moment just killed it for me. Um, and then he didn't improve any further. The last goal, he ducked like he didn't want to mess up his waves in his hair. So, no, for me, unacceptable. He's been shocking this season. There's only been, honestly, not even a handful of games, less than a handful of games that he's performed at a good rate. The rest of the games, he's been absolutely woeful. And if the club are ready to spend money again in January, I'm not sure if it's possible. I would get rid of him. I'd sell him for cut price and I'd get rid of him. Or you sign two centre backs and push him down the pecking order. And if he leaves on a free, he does. So be it. I don't think he deserves a new contract. And if he gets one, we're a laughing stock, in my opinion, if that happens. So in terms of his rating, I'm going to be polite. I'm not going to be rude. Okay, my 1 out of 10. Van Dijk did okay. Not his best of performances. I think defensive vibes, he was okay. My frustration came from the other half in terms of attacking. He should have at least got one or two goals yesterday. One, point blank, he needed a hit into the goal. Easy chance for me. Should have scored. The other one, slightly difficult because he had to flick his neck, but still applied the right power, the right direction. But he should have at least been on the scoreboard for me. Um, Passing was okay. Defending was all right. So for his rating, I'll give him a 4 out of 10. In terms of Kirkes was very average, to be fair, hit and miss. There were times where he did well in terms of his passing, but then again, there were times where he couldn't even keep his passing infield, where it goes out of play. Um, he didn't make any mistakes from what I remember. Defensively, all right, but not outstanding, if I'm being honest with you. So for me, I'll give him an average rating of 5 out of 10. Gravenberg. Gravenberg, I thought was average yesterday. Here we go. Sunderland, I was impressed with. Like his passing's been a bit off. If you probably, I don't have the stats, but in terms of pass completion, I'm sure it's not in the higher end. Um, the goal that we conceded towards the end of the game, I think he has to be held accountable for that. So for me, just not a great showing from Gravenberg. Needs to improve a lot more. So for me, he gets 3 out of 10. Jones, I was very impressed with Jones. Jones was fantastic from the first minute to the end. He was very, very good. He played with energy, which a lot of our players have not done all season. There was a lot of drive, determination in his play, held the ball very well, didn't lose the ball that many times, was strong to maintain sort of retention of the ball. Passing was decent, progressive. He was dribbling as well with the ball, getting into good positions in the final third. I thought his all-round game was really, really good yesterday. So for me, I'm going to give Curtis Jones an 8.5 out of 10. Let's see. Szoboszlai. Szoboszlai, another fantastic performance from him. In the first half, he was the main player creating any chances, uh, whether it's from a set piece or in open play. The creative spark was from Szoboszlai, despite playing, in a position where it's not a natural game, but that doesn't matter. He's always going to provide 100% in his game. And of course, he scored a fantastic goal. That should have been the match winner, if I'm being honest, when it was 3-2. But yeah, wasn't to be unfortunate. So in terms of his performance, I'm gonna give him a 9 out of 10. I thought Szoboszlai was really, really good yesterday. Um I thought Verts was good as well. Not as great as the previous game, or should I say against West Ham. For West Ham, he was really good. Um, but he's definitely improving in terms of his pressing. He's a bit more aggressive with that. He's slowly adapting to the physicality. Looks stronger on and off the ball. Great first touch. Very silky to watch. You already know. Well, I don't know if everyone knows. Everyone seems to be doubting him, but in my eyes, very silky player. Uh, this wasn't as influential yesterday, in my opinion, but still, nonetheless, decent performance. So for me, Verts gets his shirt number as his score. He's a 7 out of 10. Gakpo, Gakpo. He's to cut inside and shoot. That's that's his that's his analogy, isn't it? That's what he does. And he doesn't do it with any real effect because he hardly scores in those positions. Had a shot where he dragged it wide. Should have done better than my opponent. There were times where, he took on the fullback, which I thought positive because, you're being less predictable. You're actually going on the outside. But his deliveries or his decision making was just off. Surprised he survived as many minutes as he did because I was screaming for Chiesa to come on and replace him, but God knows what Chiesa's done to not even get any game time. And credit to Chiesa, he's not lashed out the way Salah has. But if someone is entitled to crash out, it's definitely Chiesa with the way he's been treated this season, and probably go as far as say last season as well. But in terms of Gakpo, poor performance from him. For me, he should be dropped. Um, but he won't be on the slot, so it's going to be a 2 out of 10 for him. Ekitike, very impressed with his performance. Worked hard in the first half, but in the second half, came good, scoring 2 goals. First one, obviously, he took advantage of a mistake and finished clinically. Great first touch. It looks so simple when they apply those first touches, but it's perfectly weighted, perfectly positioned. He's not overly done there, so when he's in that position, just needs to slot it in calmly. Second goal, it was all about bravery there and putting his body on the line. He did that and got the luck that he deserved. Unlucky not to, complete the hat trick because he was substituted later on in the game. But fantastic performance from Ekidike, and quite frankly, is undroppable. I don't care if Isak costs us 125 million. I don't care if Isak's one of my favorite strikers. Ekidike deserves to start in the upcoming games. That's my statement there. So in terms of Ekidike, I'll give him an 8 out of 10. So that is my player ratings. Now the man of the match goes to the highest score, and that is Subboslai. So drop a comment and let me know what you guys think. Now let's talk about the substitutes that came on, and then we can wrap up. And I've got one transfer speculation to talk to, so we could talk about that in the show as well. So let's see who came on. So we had McAllister coming on for Vets, and then we had Gomez replacing Conor Bradley, like flat substitution there. And then we had Endo coming on for Cody Gakpo. And then Isak coming on for Ekatike. That's it. So 4 substitutions made. Let me swap these two. Oh, there we go. So in terms of their impact, McAllister, I'm gonna take a sip of water for this one because I need to say what I say. Um, no impact. If I'm being honest with you, um, the only thing I remember is him getting pushed around, falling to ground, and not running around. For me, it was the wrong decision to bring him on. He wasn't needed. Chiesa was the player that should have been brought on ahead of any of these substitutes, to be fair, and he still didn't get any game time. So for me, he gets a 2 out of 10. Next player, Joe Gomez, did okay, settled the ship to an extent. I do feel like for one of the goals, he let the player get past him too. I think it was a stat goal. Should have done better. Should have been closer in his marking there. But otherwise, nothing really else to highlight. So a 4 out of 10 for Joe Gomez. Endo came in. Endo does what Endo does. Makes blocks, interceptions, and he added a bit of steel to our midfield, I guess, but only had so much time to have an impact on the game. So I'll give him a 5 out of 10. And Isak didn't have too many touches. The part that I remember is when it was 3-3 and he was the first one to have a shot. I think he produced a header that just went wide. But other than that, no real other impact. So I'm just going to give him a 3 out of 10. So that is my player ratings. Feel free to drop a comment and let me know your scores or your ratings for the players. Okay. Let me go through some of the comments and then we will discuss one transfer rumor that's been circling today and we'll talk about it in more detail. So let's go with the last comment. JK says five, Alisson 5, letting 3. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I just said, bro, think about it. If we secure Conference League and then go on to win it next season, that's one trophy the club has never won in their history. I know that's what Chelsea are bragging about, aren't they? So I I don't want that to be the case for us. Bowles rating is 5 for Ali, 6 for Bradley, 2 for Ibu, Virgil 4, Kirkis 4, Graf 4, Jones 6, Szoboszlai 7, Verts 5, Gakpo 2, and Ekitike 8. Well, that's it. I really appreciate what Kurt does. Obviously, look, Curtis Jones was fantastic yesterday. He played with raw purpose, and you could feel it in terms of the interview he did a couple of weeks ago. You know he's angry, he's frustrated with what the club has been doing the last few weeks, or shall I say, for most parts of the season. And he wants to make a change. He wants to do better. He wants to fight for the fans. So I can't fault him for his efforts because he has been showing in recent games. Abdul's ratings are 4 for Ali, Kirkes 4, Van Dijk 3, Konate 2, Bradley 5, Jones 6, Brownberg 3, Gakpo 3, Verts 5, Szoboszlai 5. Excuse me. Ekitike 7 and 4 for Gomez, McAllister, Endo, and Isak. Honestly, he doesn't complain, does his job if coming off the bench or starting. Quiet leader, yeah. Leads by example. Bo says, do you think Salah is in the squad against Inter? Absolutely not. He will not be involved at all. I don't think he'll be selected for the Inter game because it's too fresh in terms of what happened yesterday. The Brighton one, maybe, but I don't think he'll start. He'll be in the squad or on the bench, and that could be his farewell, unfortunately. Most of the Canadian society game, yes, he does. He's ahead of McAllister in the pecking order, in my opinion. We need that Scouse energy. It's not even just Scouse energy. I just want someone to fight for the fans and fight for the badge. That's exactly what he's doing right now. Other than Gakpo frustrates the hell out of me. You and me both, Gakpo. You and me both. Everyone in the stadium knows what he will do. He's one of the most predictable footballers out there, honestly. Everyone knows what he's going to do. Boss says, I understand Salah being frustrated when he's seeing Gakpo in every side of the game. That's my point there. I'm not saying it's acceptable in terms of coming out and speak to the media so openly about your frustrations, about your relationship with the coach and the club and all that sort of stuff. I don't agree with it because you shouldn't really be, you know, presenting your dirty laundry to the world. But I understand his frustration when you're seeing Gakpo play week in, week out and not produce the goods. I'd be annoyed as well, to be fair. Abdul with the fixtures, I'm not going to read all those fixtures. We're going to lose all of them. So I'm not going to bother reading all of that. Boss says, Aussie, if we lose all those games, do you get sacked or if she's still backing him? I think they'll assess it based on where we are in the league. If we are in the bottom half and miles away from top four, then they'll say we'll have to sack him because if it continues to go down this kind of spiral, then you know you're thinking it can't get worse. But then again, we might have the same stance that United had with Amorim, where you stuck by him because he's an appointment or a new appointment to an extent. So I don't know what it will take to FSG because I'm surprised that FSG haven't made a stance right now. I think he should have been sacked a long time ago, but FSG are seeing it the other way. As I said, do a start rating, Ozzy. I'm trying to see something. Who got my lowest rating? Ibu? Yeah, we'll give Slot. I'll give Slot a one. That's me being very nice there. Uh, Bo says Slot is unacceptable. I think is what you wrote there. Abdul says sell Salah and sack Slot. I don't want to sell Salah, but I understand in terms of what you mean because what he did is something you can't take back. It's not forgivable from the club's point of view. And if you allow the player to stay on, play games, it sets the wrong example for the rest of the squad and for the future of the club in terms of players coming in. So they'll have to take a stance. Unfortunately, it might be where Salah is sold in the January window. Whilst it's clear that we have seen the last of Salah in a Liverpool shirt just because of that ball fraud, yeah, I agree with you. If we had his argument, none of this would have happened. I don't know. Anyone but Slot, that's how I look at it. Abdul says Liverpool current players need to improve. Totally agree with you. They do. Bo says there some players that are still back in Slot, you think? Uh, Probably Gakpo, because Gakpo's been awarded with a bumper contract a few months ago where he's earning 250K. I don't know the exact number, but he's one of the highest earners at the club, and he plays week in, week out with no real competition. I know Rio's there, but he's not really providing competition. He's just cover for him. Chiesa should be competing for that position, but it's not a viable option in Slot's eyes anyway. So he's getting away with murder right now, if I'm being honest. He's got a pay rise, he's playing week in, week out, he's dropping stinkers every day, or every game, I should say. And his position is questioned by the manager. So players like that will be happy, but the players like Salah will voice their frustration. So no, there might be a few. I think Gakpo will definitely be one of them. But I would say large parts of the squad are probably with Salah more so than the coach. And I'll include Van Dijk. It's not just a Dutch thing. There'll be certain players that get special treatment from the coach. I think Van Dijk will be on Salah's side in this one because he knows what Salah's about, like everyone else does in the club, and they know he's being mistreated right now. So yeah, it'll be a minority if I'm being honest. Delulu Steve says AGT from the COP TV backs Slot. Everyone's entitled to their opinion, but that is one I don't agree with. Boss says, Ozzy, do you think the journalists will ask the questions tomorrow? Oh, 100%. 100%. If they don't, they've been told not to ask the questions, which is not authentic. Journalists should be given the platform to ask what they want, but let's see. I think it will definitely be asked, but it'll probably just give you a terrible PR answer anyway. Um, about Salah, yeah. How are your health today, Ozzy, brother? I'm alright. I've got this cough that it just lingers here and there. But yeah, I'll be fine. I'll be fine. Touristy says, Oz, how much do you reckon we can fetch for a 33-year-old Mohamed Salah in January? 80 million? Good question, Steve. I haven't seen any sort of fees being branded around online in terms of those links with Al Ittihad. In the past, they would have given us probably 100 million. I think now, if we were to get 80 million, that would be amazing. I don't think it would be that high. My guess would be in the region of 50 to 60 million. I could be completely wrong. It could be a lot more. But I think based on what's happened and based on his he's got about a year and a half left in his contract as well. So I think that would be the range. 80 million would be great. I don't think it'd be more than that. Be very surprised if it's upwards from that, unless there's a bidding war between a few Saudi clubs. And if that's the case, um, then it could increase the price there. But otherwise, I don't think it'll be higher than that, to be fair. Bo says Edwards coming back was the worst thing that could have happened. Only time will tell. Because I'm probably a minority. I still feel like the signings we made were good in the summer. They just haven't clicked under the current coach, who I believe should not be here. If we had a different coach, then I truly believe that this team would be playing a different brand of football, and the results would be a lot better than what they currently are. So yeah, let's see what happens. At this stage, I feel like Slot will remain, and yeah, I don't think Edwards or Richard Hughes will make any changes anytime soon. Steve says transfer market value Salah at 45 million euros currently. In euros, that would be about 35, 40, so that's not very high. I would say 50 to 60 would be the range I think we'd accept a bid. Um, Paul says, watch the Real Madrid game. So impressed by Celta. So good on the ball and confident, exactly what I want from Liverpool. Taking chances and having a plan in everything. Slot can't do that. Listen, we've got the talent to play that level of football. Just don't have the right coach right now, to be fair. So hopefully the club can address that. But if I'm being honest with you, I don't have huge confidence in them right now. Fozzie says no link. Let me add a link. Give me a second, Fozzie. If you're still around, feel free to come on the show. There you go. So that should be visible. So yeah, if you're around and you'd like to come on, yeah, feel free to hit that link. Delulu Steve is asking, is 50 million pounds good business? Not really, if I'm being honest with you. I know he's 33 years of age, but I still feel like there's a good player there. It's just that I feel like you have to assess the player in terms of what he brings to the table and put him in a formation or in a system that you could take advantage or get the best out of him. I've been saying it for months, maybe even longer than that. I don't think Salah should be playing as a right winger. When you've got, for example, we've got two strikers in Isak and Ekitike, right? I feel like our formation should have two attackers rather than three forwards in our front line. With that setup, you've got Isak, Ekitike, and Salah all fighting for a position. Having Salah playing a more central role, I feel like you will be using his strongest skill set right now, which is finishing. He's a goal scorer now. Of course, he can still create, but for me, goal scoring is probably really higher on that list. Out on the wings, he's not impactful. He's not going to be effective because he's not dynamic. He doesn't have that burst of speed anymore like he did 10 years ago. So you have to let the player evolve and play in a different position. I said this the other day, and do Stevens boy up. A winger is a young man's position. It is. You don't see 33-year-old wing backs. Sorry, wingers. You don't see 33-year-old fullbacks. And if you do, you'd question it as well because you know the fullback role in the modern game is all about energy, all about drive and being fully fit, where you can bomb down up and around the pitch. Yeah, I don't know what's going on, to be fair. About 50 million, I think maybe due to the circumstances, probably what we'll have to accept. Um, Hopefully it's a bit more higher, because then we can invest it into the squad as well. But I'm so tired seeing Slot on the sideline and in presses. Yeah, I've had enough of looking at or watching any of his press conferences. He does my absolute head in. Fozzie's backstage, so let's bring him on. Uh, Fozzie,
Yes, yes, bro.
bro,
What's
how are
going
you?
on? I'm good, brother. You?
All good, bro. Let me know what you think, man. A lot has happened in the last 24 hours. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I said my piece earlier in the afternoon around, I think I did it around 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I woke up and I just said, I got to say my piece.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on, bro. I really don't know. What do you stand with this? Are you on a side or before we continue, are you on one side or the other or in the middle? What are you?
So for me, in terms of Salah's comments, I said it earlier in the show. I'm not in agreement in terms of what he did, as in expressing his frustration out loud. I don't think that was the right way to go.
Mm,
But at the same time, we know what Mohamed Salah, when he's frustrated, he's very vocal. But I feel
yeah,
like he gave too much detail rather than anything else, if I'm being honest. Maybe there could have been a way that he would have said that, look, I'm focused on, performing for this club whenever called upon. He could have addressed it a little bit differently.
yeah.
But I understand his frustrations. I really do. And the example that I would give is that when you see a player like Gakpo, who starts week in, week out, and at times feels like he's undroppable, you will feel
Mm,
a certain type of way. And I also, Stoll made a reference about us not having a profile like a Jacob Murphy in our team. That is a slight dig at Salah. That, our current right winger can't do what Jacob Murphy can do at Newcastle. So there's been little hints here and there. And I just feel like this manager is he's the master of, coming up with these sort of indirects about his own players. He does it about
yeah,
Chiesa, does it
yeah,
about other players in the past
yeah.
as well. And I don't like that characteristic in our coach.
It's a Dutch
That's
thing, isn't it? It's a Dutch thing, unfortunately. This is
It
what they
is a
do.
Dutch thing
They're
because they're
they're
very
too truthful. They're too
transparent,
honest. Yeah.
very honest, too open for my likings, and I don't like it. So
But don't you think that's something the club should have, talked about with him before, they put him out
yeah,
there for the Wolves, as we say, the press, innit? Because the press, at the end of the day, Ozzy,
yeah,
they are rival fans. Some of them, people forget that.
yeah,
There's Arsenal fans, there's Man United fans, there's Man City fans. They're going to ask you questions. They're going to ask you questions that will make
mm,
you feel uncomfortable. So
yeah,
the way when he came into the football, they should have trained him better. You know what I mean? As a
yeah,
coach that's never coached in the Premier League before, and
yeah,
hence this is why he's struggling with when things are tough. Everybody's going to say things that you won't like, but it's your
yeah,
response and your reaction, how you go about it, that's gonna um, that's gonna be out there for the world to see. If you know what I mean, if you're good at it or if you're bad at it, and he's very bad at when he's losing, the responses he
yeah,
gives. You know what I mean, and he's been exposed for it this season. That's why we're all out. You know what I mean, we're not even at people. I'm sure you're not that type of person either. I mean,
yeah,
but there is a limit. You know what I mean? When you say, you know what, bro, I gave you so many chances, it's just not improving. But every time I'm
yeah,
watching you, it's just getting worse. It's not even the games anymore. Outside football, when I'm watching you in press conferences, you're not making sense anymore. I mean, you're giving our
yeah,
tactics away.
yeah,
You're saying if I say something, and you guys are gonna come at me and all this stuff. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
it's just gone. It's gone all patient, bro. It's gone all patient. But as for the Mo Salah thing,
mm,
listen, he was truthful, but those kind of things, as a senior player, as a player that's looked up to from every side of the world, as well as a fan, as well as the players that's with him
yeah,
on the on the training ground and plays in the same team as him. He's got to do more. He's got to do more than what
yeah,
he did the other day. Okay,
mm,
you don't agree with the coach. Why can't you speak to him in his office? I mean,
yeah,
and then you'll see if you agree or disagree. The thing is with Salah, I've noticed about him, when a manager is in a vulnerable situation, he starts talking. Like when Klopp was going last season, 2 seasons ago, as soon as
yes,
Klopp announced and Klopp dropped him for the West Ham game, you saw his reaction. And then when he was leaving
mm,
the actual stadium, the reporter asked him a question. He said, "If I say something, it's going to be fire." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is the behavior of this man, and
Mm.
he needs to understand he's not in a position of power anymore. He gets the
No.
most money. I agree because of what he did in the past seasons. He deserves it. He deserves all the money he's getting. But he needs to understand, as a senior player who's supposed to love this club, he needs to
Yeah.
take care of the next generation that's going to replace him. So this club can be still challenging and be in a better position when he leaves. Like Klopp said, is what you when you leave the club is what that matters, not when you're here and doing something now. If you leave your club in a good, great position, that means you've done your job because you've won the trophies and you left it to another man to take over to win more trophies. So this is what he should be doing as a player, but he's not. To be honest,
No.
Ozzy, the way he's behaving is like a child. He needs to
Yeah.
understand the team is not built around you anymore. The team
Mm.
is moving to another direction with younger players. This is where you nurture them with the coach before you leave. And
Yeah.
all this stuff he's saying in the press, I agree with what he's saying, most of it, not all of it.
Yeah.
But when he said the club one, I didn't understand about the club. We all support him no matter what. So I
Mm.
don't understand why he's throwing the club in the conversation. I understand he talks
Yeah.
about certain individuals and that, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's very, very strange, very disrespectful to us that supported him all these years. And when he
Yeah.
says, I earned the place, no, you haven't earned nothing this season, my friend. You haven't kicked the ball all season. You know what I mean?
Mm.
I think that only 3 games we got a result since you've been on the bench and coming off the bench. It was the
Yeah.
last 3 games: the West Ham game, the Sunderland
Yeah.
game, and obviously the Leeds game. We haven't lost any of those. But the games before that, we've been losing, and you've been playing 90 minutes for it. You know what I mean? So you can't really
Yeah.
say you earned the place. Okay, some of the players are in the team that deserve to be in the team. But the thing is,
Yeah.
if the coach is under fire and he's losing his job, who is he going to target? The players that's not running on the pitch and not trying for
Yeah.
him. And he sees that as what he sees him as the main culprit because they agreed this last season, but they didn't agree this season. This season he's supposed to be running back, and he's not running back. And he saw that in the last game he started. Was it PSV when the players were running past
Yeah.
him and he just didn't track back? You know what I mean? So things like this are going to happen, bro. I mean, if you're not doing the basics of your game, which is the work ethic, then it will shine through, and then you're going to be the. It doesn't matter what your name is. If the manager is on the verge of getting sacked, he's going to say, you know what, bro, you're not working for me, so let me put a person that's going to work up and down for me. Listen, Gakpo might be the worst player, but at least he runs up and down. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
he does that kind of work rate. So I'm not
Yeah.
defending Gakpo in any way, but this is where the manager is thinking. I've got nothing to lose now. I'm going to lose my job no matter anyway. So let me try
Yeah.
salvage something and try be more defensive and more athletic players running up and down for me, rather than just using Salah, who's not scoring goals, who's not creating goals. He avoids passing to his players when they're free at the back post. I mean, he's doing so much that's not working for Arne Slot. So it is what it is, bro. I think both of them should go. I don't think we're in that
Yeah.
situation, that building around Salah anymore. I think that stage is gone. He's 33, heading to 34. So I hope I cleared it right. You know what I mean? Because I think people avoid a lot of things to say because they're in favour of certain person. But at the end of the
Yeah.
day, Ozzy, we support Liverpool Football Club. We don't support individual
Facts.
players because this club's going to be here long, after they're gone. And
Yeah.
we have to salvage this issue that we have. We don't want to be in a situation that we can't rebuild like Man United. You know,
Yeah.
when the players run the asylum and they're getting overpaid, they're getting a CV
Yes.
playing for Liverpool Football Club, and that is it. There's no trophies that follow that. And I'm not.
Yeah.
You want, you want me to run? Hell no, I'm not running. I mean, just give my money, man. Just give me my money. That's all they're gonna say at the end of the day. So we just gotta be careful how we go about things, bro, because
Yeah.
everybody, the way they're jumping on the bandwagon, oh, I'm team Arne Slot, I'm team Salah, but people forget the middle.
Yeah.
The team is in the middle. What have we done wrong to anybody? Didn't
Mm.
that parade that we met actually for the first time, Ozzy? Didn't that
Yeah.
parade actually show people what it was all about when Liverpool win
Yeah.
titles? Wouldn't you want that
True.
again? You know what I mean? Wouldn't you fight for that again? They're not showing
Yeah.
anything, bro. Van Dijk is one of the worst defenders I've seen in years in the Premier League right now.
Mm.
Konate, you might as well just play for the other team. You know what I mean? There's no point in you playing for Liverpool football anymore. And some of the players, even if you watch some of the goals that we can see, it's comical, bro. It's
It
preventable.
is.
Look at the Leeds second goal when the guy just walked in the box. Like he's
Yeah.
the prime Maradona. And then picked his. It's like it's too many goals where players pick their spot. Have you noticed that? Even the Nottingham Forest, that corner
Mhm.
when the defender
Yeah.
scored, he stopped the ball from the air and then looked
Yeah.
up and placed it in the top corner. You know what I mean? This
Yeah.
is too
Murillo.
easy, bro. It's too easy, bro. Every
Yeah.
goal's the same. And then you look at the
Yeah.
last goal, Gravenberch, I don't know where he was looking, hit him in the head or something. hit him in the arm,
Yeah.
controlled it for the guy to just tap it in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He did everything that guy wanted, and he tapped it in. It's a joke, bro. It's a mess, man. You can't be 2-0 up in the second half, and then
Yeah.
get a draw out of that. It wasn't even 2-0 the first half, bro. 45 minutes, second half. You
Yes.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then the worst thing that the head coach did is the substitutions in the 65 minutes again. I said, bro,
Yeah.
haven't you learned from the past games? Every time you make substitutions, we lost the game. We lost the
Yeah.
goals. So
Yeah.
stop that. Just wait to the last 10 minutes or something like that. But at least, it limits the time. So if you lose one goal, we still got time to defend for 5 minutes or something like that. But he doesn't
Yeah.
even do that, bro. Yeah, it's a mess. And the
It's
worst
a
part
mess
of it,
all the way around.
I don't think we're gonna get out of this if we continue like this, bro. We need to like cut the cord right now, bro. Cut the cord
Yeah.
right now before it gets messy.
Totally agree with you. I think you have to. You're right. You have to look at both sides. I think with Salah, for example, he's only vocal when he's frustrated, whether it's an issue with a coach, which has been with Klopp in the past, or contractual situation where he doesn't know where he stands. Last year that was the topic of conversation. Every
Hmm.
interview that he did, it was
Yeah,
about his contract. And I feel like with this situation, I don't know. I'm looking at it two ways. It could be one or the other. One way I'm looking at it is that he feels like he's useless or he's got nothing to lose now because maybe in the back he's been told that he's surplus to requirements and he might be sold in January because there's a lot of stories about Saudi and maybe there's some truth to it. I don't know. Well, only time will tell if that happens. But
yeah, yeah.
maybe he's been told that look, we've given you the contract, yes, but you don't fit the model, so we have to look at potential suits. There's interest from Saudi, so maybe that's a destination that you can go to. So maybe he feels devalued by the club because he said that yesterday that someone in the club wants me out. So he didn't say the coach as such. Maybe he meant the hierarchy as well. So I'm trying to read in between the lines. So maybe he's been told that you're not needed anymore and you'll be
Hmm.
moved on, which is
Yeah,
why he said, next week I've asked my mother to come to Brighton because that might be my last game. So that shows to me that something has been said in the background. So that's why he's like, you know what? I've bottled up all this frustration. I'm just gonna let it out. And in
yeah.
a selfish way, he's gone around it the wrong way. But because he's said too much, even if there was a chance of him to continue at Liverpool, there's no coming back from that.
They're not
He's
coming
done
back from
too
that.
much now.
It's
No,
done. It's
he's
done.
done far too much. Or if that fear of mine is not the case, maybe he thought that if I was vocal about my relationship with the coach, then the owners might think twice and get rid of him first before they
Yeah.
get rid of him,
And the
which
fan
is
base would erupt and take his side, and he would
yeah,
get him out.
which is not going to happen because the culture at our club is different. We are not based on player power. We've always held our manager with high regards. So we're not united. Players aren't gonna grab us like that and get what they want. Even though
That's
Slot has
that's
been
why
terrible
that's
this
why
season.
that's why a lot of them are on low wages because they
Yeah,
don't run the asylum. But carry on, sorry, bro.
no, that's fine. So I think because of that, he's been very naive to be honest with you. Because despite Slot being terrible this season, in my opinion, and I'm sure you agree with that as well,
Mm,
the coach will always get the backing of the owners before any player. Doesn't
yeah,
matter how bad they are, because if the player gets their way and the manager gets dismissed, you've already shifted the culture of that club, and that's what's going to
exactly,
happen going forward. Player power will prevail, and that's the way it's going to go in the long term. Forget the short term. So
exactly.
that's my worry now. Like he might have thought this is going to help. I actually feel like he's made it worse because I hate to say this. I
Well,
don't
some
think
people
he.
some people are saying, Ozzy, what
Yeah,
do you call it? They're saying on the terms of he's done the right thing because this is going to be quick to get Arne Slot out, but they don't understand.
I
Arne
don't
Slot
think so.
is more in a powerful position now because
Yeah,
not only he went against what Liverpool go against, but obviously coming out and saying what he said in the public, and this is what adds fuel to the fire for him to be stepping away because the worst thing for him is he's leaving in a week. You know what I mean? So he's
yes,
left a mess behind. Imagine like he leaves and the team starts winning and all that stuff, and then he comes
yeah,
back and he's gone. there's no way he's staying. You know what I mean?
No,
So he hasn't done anything good. I'm telling you guys, like the way people are talking about he done something good. Those are the people that don't know football, mate. He's done it to himself now. He's in a bad
no.
predicament now.
Yeah, I don't think it's helped his situation there. He's actually probably given Slot until the rest of the season
Yep,
to
he
continue.
has.
Opinion. I don't feel like he thought that maybe it will help to come out loud, but unfortunately it hasn't. And look, in terms of the comments that he made about, feel like he's been throwing the bus, all that sort of stuff. Look, I do agree with it because I do feel like, he has been, because he's Mo Salah, he's obviously the one of our best players. He's always going to be held with high regards, and if things don't go to plan, and if he's not scoring, then we're going to look towards him. Naturally, that
Yeah,
happens, especially when you are one of the best players. You are going to be looked at, just like
yeah,
Van Dijk is being highlighted and all that sort of stuff.
yeah,
But the thing is, even though you've been dropped for the last couple of games, it's important to carry yourself a certain way. You are still representing Liverpool Football Club when you're talking to the press. So if you're talking in that manner, it makes it look very messy in terms of what's going
mm.
on. And that's my thing. Now we're just it's a bit of a circus right now.
No,
And
because to me, like when I look at that, it's like
mm,
he what he did is gonna make the manager stay longer because those people
yeah,
that want him out, they're gonna make an example out of him now. You know what I mean? That's what they're gonna do,
yeah.
and people don't even look into the things like that.
And then he'll
When
say
you
that,
get
look,
when
I've got a player like
go on.
Salah who's been a problem with
Mm,
me. Like he doesn't
yeah,
listen to me. That's
exactly,
going to be his back in
exactly.
there as well.
And not only
So
that, what they're gonna do is internal investigation. You know what I mean? How many
yeah,
players are like Salah in the team? Do you get what I'm saying? When a player is coming out saying like this, there must be a WhatsApp group somewhere where they're all
yeah,
talking to each other about things like this. So what they're going to do, internal investigation. They're going to look at the
yeah,
players that's with him and the players that is going to be with Arne Slot. So they're gonna try find out what's happening in the terms of there's been a lack of performances from players because they were thinking
yeah,
like this way in advance. So he's putting this club in a bad position, bad
yeah,
predicament. Sorry, and
yeah,
now we're gonna probably have Arne Slot to, like you said, to the summer because
yeah.
there could be an internal rift that we don't know about because the way he said people are doing this to me, people are doing that to me, that has to be internal shit that's happening that we are unaware of, and eventually it will come out probably.
It's true. And now I think if there was any chance of stop being dismissed, I don't think it'll be the case now. Just because the club will need to make an example of this. It's not probably the right thing to say, but it is what it is. Like in terms
Yeah,
of
it is
look,
what it is.
if you go against the grain, if you go against the coach in the manner that Salah did, you will have to pay the consequences, whether you're right or
Yeah.
wrong, and whether your points are valid or not. It actually doesn't matter.
Mm.
You will have to pay the price, and that's why I said today. I posted a short video on my socials today. I think Salah's definitely gone. He's definitely gone in January. There is no coming back from that. Even if he was to do a public
And
apology,
he might not even be the only one. I mean, there could be people that's been doing the same thing as him behind the scenes. So
exactly.
you might get Ibrahim Konate gone because his performances have been horrendous, man.
Oh God.
I mean, so he either needs to go in January or he's going to lose his World Cup position because Liverpool is not going to
Yeah.
play him anymore. Because I think
Yeah.
the coach, did the coach say after the game, he's in the scene of all the crimes or something like that? Every single time there's a goal going in, Konate
Yeah.
is there.
That's
He's making the
disgusting.
errors. Yeah, that's what he said, in the scene of the crimes or something.
Wow, that's harsh. Well, I agree with it. Though, to be fair. Oh no,
When he
we've,
said that,
we've got a lot of
when I
players
heard
that
that, I
are
started laughing.
going
Like
to
when
say
you're so
the
sad,
show.
you just laugh sometimes, isn't it? You're so sad, you just have to laugh. It's the scene of the crime.
That's a quote there itself. There's always a crime when he's there. It's true. There's casualties wherever he's at right now. So, oh, there's a lot of players that haven't performed this season. And this is my thing about the current sort of split fan base on social media or
Yeah.
however you want to present it. It has become divided. Whether agree with
Oh
Salah's
man, his
comments or
Twitter is
not.
going berserk, man. Some of the YouTubers are
Yeah,
just going mad on them. People are having a go at them.
yeah. But like, look, I think in terms of if you look, I'm gonna say out loud, I don't think what he did was right in terms of the way
Yeah.
he expressed himself in the interview. Does he make valid points? I think he does, to be honest with you.
Oh, he does, yeah.
That doesn't mean you turn on the player. It doesn't mean you disrespect the player or disregard what he's done for the club. In terms of
Mm.
the current situation, I agree. He's not put himself in good light. And when the quotes and interview came, because when I first heard it, I thought it was AI. Like I didn't think it was real.
Yeah, it
So
looks.
when you
Yeah,
get
yeah.
this where you don't know, innit? So but when I saw it, when I heard it, and I saw the quotes before I even watched the video, I was like, he's just let loose, man. He just doesn't care anymore. Like he's thinking, do you know what? I've had enough. And I wasn't surprised by him speaking out loud because he's done it in the past. You know what Salah's like. He's been dropped 3 games in a row. He's not going to keep quiet. It's not his
Oh, in his nature, yeah.
it's not his nature. He's a big time player. He's got a big ego, like all the greats have over the years. So he's not going to accept a squad role. Doesn't matter how old he is. He's not going to accept that. But for me, this is when your manager needs to come into the front and he needs to showcase his man management skills, which I believe Arne Slot does not have. I think he
It's
lacks it.
awful. It's
He
awful,
thinks at
man.
it.
Yeah.
He doesn't have this in his locker.
Nope.
This is a time where you speak to your player and say, look, I'm not dropping you. You're not dropped. I'm sort of reserving you for upcoming games because I need you to maintain your sharpness. Just something along those lines to paint the picture that you're still part of the process or you're still part of the squad.
Mm, mm.
Right now, I just need to switch things around. I need you to maintain yourself. So when you come on and when you start games for us, you're fit and firing and you're scoring the goals like you normally do. Like there's a way of communicating, there's a way of presenting a project or presenting an idea to a player. I don't think Stott has done anything what I've just mentioned at all. He's not spoken to Salah in that way. In
Nope.
fact, Salah said yesterday, he asked him why he's been dropped or why he wasn't involved yesterday. He gave him the cold shoulder. So when that happens, that's when you know someone is being disrespected. So that's why he let loose in terms of what he's saying. But in terms of the fans, so many people are being disrespectful to Salah. Like I don't agree with that, but at the same time, you have to say what it is. It wasn't good what he did. It's understandable, but at the same time, he could have done it a different way.
Yeah.
But it doesn't clean up our issues. We've already gone through so many issues. It just adds more to it now. You know,
Yeah.
I, I was probably a bit sort of premature with my thoughts, but I said it a couple of weeks ago. If
Mm,
we can get a consecutive run of games,
mm,
our season can be salvaged at some point. I'm not saying we're going to win titles or win trophies, but we will be finishing the season at a more respectable
mm,
position, i.e.,
mm.
we're in the top four because top four has to be a minimum.
Yeah.
But right now, the way we're playing under this coach, I don't know where we're going. I think we're going to see draws and losses on a more regular occurrence. There's going
100%.
to be less wins. So that's my concern. So
It's a complete
it's
mess,
good.
bro. It's a
It's
complete
a mess,
mess.
bro.
I don't see anything that's gonna be like changing anytime soon. When you, like I said earlier, when you're 2-0 up in the second half, like 2-0 up in the second half, you scored in the second half. Those are the kind of ones that should lead you to victory. Leeds was nowhere
Yeah.
near that game. They were nowhere near that game.
No.
As soon as he started thinking, because the problem with him is like he's a child, isn't he? He's like a available child. Because
Yeah.
every single time he makes mistakes is when he starts overthinking, bro. You know what I mean? When he
Yeah.
starts thinking, oh, we're winning 2-0, we're back, we're back. No, we're not back, bro. You know what I mean?
No.
Whatever you do right now is going to be the detriment to the football club. So don't
Yeah.
start thinking that. Still be humble. Still like leave the team that's there to try to win the game. When you're making too many changes, is when everything goes astray. And that's what
Yeah.
look at the games we drew, guys. We was leading in those games, and then all of a sudden he's making changes. Or we was drawing 0-0 with Sunderland. As soon as he made that changes, he put
Yeah.
Jones as a right back. What happened? 10 minutes later, we can see the goal because every defender was responsible for Jones and all that stuff. What I'm trying to say is when you take a piece out of the jigsaw,
Yeah.
when every defender is responsible for their own actions and you put a
Yeah.
non-defender there, then the defense would think like, shit, we've got to take care of him. And then they're going to start making mistakes on their side. And that's what happened. Sunderland scored that goal because
Mm.
Jones was the right back. If he left it as it was, the defense was aggressive enough. I think Gomez made a tackle on a player, got a yellow card for it, making sure he
Yeah,
doesn't get past him. That's how you do defending. You don't be defending when you're nice. You got to be aggressive at the same time as well. So when you got the aggression side on your defense, everybody's not going to come at you, and that's what he did. He took off a defender, put a
mhm,
midfielder as a right back, and then it all fell apart. Same thing again. He did. The team was
yeah,
doing well with the 11 that was there. Wait till the 80th minute, maybe 75th. I'll even give you 75th minute. Then make
yeah,
changes. But just too
yeah,
many changes you put on the pitch, and the team was all over the place. Nobody knew where they were because like
yeah,
you're only going to be on the pitch with the team that started. You know what I mean? And then you
yeah.
could take one off, or you know what I mean, sometimes, and then take the next one off, maybe the next 10 minutes. That's what you do when you're struggling.
Mm.
He didn't even do that, guys. He made about two changes in a row every time. This is what I'm saying. There's no way back for this football club, guys. We're a mess. We are an absolute mess, and it's going to continue as long as this head coach is there. I don't know if you
Yeah.
agree with that, Ozzy.
No, I've
Even
been
because
very
people think,
vocal.
yeah, people think like we're going to buy players in January next month, and all things are going to change. It's not going to change.
No.
It does the same. If the tactics are the same, it's going to stay the same.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. It's the coach. The coach is the problem here. He's the one that's setting out the team. And the funny thing is, every week when we concede a goal, it's not like one person is a problem. It's like a collective of issues within the club, whether it's the defense or whatnot. Like everyone has to be held accountable for what we've done this season. Like in terms of the players that have
yeah.
underperformed. And look, it's all going to well being linked with certain players for the next window. But I don't trust this coach to manage those players. I feel like those players, if they were to join, would digress because he doesn't have a togetherness with this squad.
He hasn't, mate. Because like you just made a great point there. Like when you're defending, you defend as a team at this football club.
Yes.
You don't defend. You don't defend as individuals.
Yeah.
There's an actual pattern there of play
Yeah.
where everybody one presses and the other team follow
Yeah.
afterwards. We don't longer do that. We don't do nothing. We're just we're just one person goes in defense and then the other person.
Yeah.
I think there was times in the game the other day when foreign verts pressed and nobody followed him. You know what I
But he's
mean?
doing his own. Yeah.
It was like that. You know what I mean? And then I saw Isak when he came on, he started shouting at people, "Give me the fucking ball!" Like,
Yeah.
that kind of shouting. Like, what the hell is going on? You know what typified it for me when I realized when this manager's given up is when the third goal went in from Leeds and he looked at the camera and shrugged his shoulders. What
And
can
then
I
that,
do?
yeah, that
Yeah.
that
I
rattled me.
said, you know what, mate, you're done out here, man.
Yeah.
You gave me a shrug of the shoulders. That means you don't know what you're doing anymore. Well, you can't do anything
Yeah.
anymore. Okay, it's time to go then, isn't it?
But that's my worry. Why is it still here? Like, there's been so much going on this
Salah,
season
like
where
you made a great point as well, bro. Is what you said about Salah, what he did in the
I know.
press. I think he would have gone probably after that game. Now Salah, what he did there has probably made
Yeah.
him stay longer. Because all we're hearing now
Yeah.
is he's got the backing. That's all we're hearing. He's got the backing.
Yeah,
He's
that's
got the
what we're
backing.
hearing. Yeah. There's nothing pro about Salah's stance. They're not, even I saw a video on social media where
Mhm.
I think one of the press officers was standing behind Salah when he was
Yeah.
talking,
Oh yeah, when he
and
said
he
about
was
the team, when the team is
yeah,
going for
and he
yeah,
was just shaking his head, and he's like probably texting something like, "Oh shoot, Salah's gone on one, like he's talking nonsense now." So yeah, there was no backing towards a player. When you go out like that in such a bizarre fashion, because you don't really hear players talk about their coach or talk about their club in
no,
that manner.
no,
So that he's literally gone completely crazy on screen, and you're thinking there's no coming back from that.
no
And
chance.
I agree, the timing of the interview was terrible. Not saying he
Terrible,
should
bro.
ever do it in that way, but who knows? Maybe Slot would have been out of the door if that interview never occurred.
Exactly.
We won't know now
The
because
pressure,
now,
because don't forget, bro. Like you just said, you made a great point. The Slot could have been at the door. I'll tell you why. Because the focus won't be on Salah, would it? It'll be on Slot.
yeah. So now you're looking at why did Liverpool have a 2-0 lead and end up drawing the game 3-3, and the coach, like you mentioned, shrugs. I don't know. I don't know what to do. That's not acceptable. I've never seen Jurgen Klopp do that. I've not seen any manager do that. Like when it's like, I don't know what to do. That's like a clueless person on the pitch right now. So you shouldn't be
Everybody
the
knows
manager.
that shrug. Everybody knows that shrug of the shoulder. Everybody knows it. It's when you can't do anything anymore. I can't do
You
anything
can't,
anymore. Kind of
yeah,
shrug. That's it.
it's out of control. So when he's out of control, he shouldn't be in control. He should be dismissed, and a new
Hmm.
coach should be coming in. It's as simple as that. And some fans will say, "Well, who comes in?" I don't care who comes in. Just bring someone else in. It
Give me
can't be
some
him.
ideas. Show me
Yeah,
something, a pattern of play. Show me
yeah.
something. That's all I need.
They need a new voice. They need someone that will give them a different energy, just something
Until
completely different because they're
because
fed
the
up.
right, if it has to be that until we get the right one in, just do something, guys.
Yes.
Because this team
Yeah.
is dead. There's no
Yeah.
life in this team. You saw Soboslai after the match reaction when
Yeah.
his eyes were rolling back. He said, "What the fuck am I doing here again?" And that's a proper captain, by the way he spoke. Let me just put it that way. When they
Yeah.
asked him about what's happening in the locker room, and he said, "Whatever is in the locker room stays in the locker room." That's the reaction that you need from a leader.
And what does Salah do? Salah
And he's
talks
only
about it
24.
an hour later.
And Salah's 10 years older than him. Look at that. Look at the difference in behavior. That's embarrassing, bro.
It is. It is. I don't know what's going on about club. I'm gonna read some comments and then you can answer as well. Carlos, we got Carlos. It's disgusting how Egyptian king is being treated. I get what you're saying, but he's not helped himself with the comments that he said very publicly there.
Yeah,
Bo says
100%.
get Slot, Salah, Edwards, and Hughes out. Could that be possible? I don't think so. That's too much, too soon. Just like our transfer window, unfortunately. So no, I doubt that would happen. To be honest with you, Hannah says marching on together. Uh, Kieran says Salah only the start. Virgil looks like he's not interested anymore. I hear it.
Virgil's done, man.
Yeah, Virgil is done. He looks whenever he talks in the post interviews, he
Yeah.
looks so dejected. Like he just
Huh?
isn't like no energy. There's nothing. There's no life. Like you mentioned with the squad, there's no life. So that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
man.
We need someone to galvanize the squad. It's not Slot. It needs to be a fresh face, someone with fresh ideas, different energy. We just need something different now. That's how I
Yeah.
feel like it needs to be done.
Re-energize the squad, innit, as they say.
Yeah, exactly. Boss says forget about buying players. Slot is still here because Hughes and Edwards don't want to admit a mistake. Yeah,
It's
I
like you
hear
said, bro. Listen, if someone told me we're gonna buy those players in the beginning of the season, I think I've been in your channel a few times before. I said,
yeah.
hell yeah, let's get all these players.
Mm,
This is world class players. This is players we don't normally get. You know what I mean?
yeah,
For once,
yeah.
let's do that. And we've realized we're bad at that too.
No.
We're
We
bad
were
at
dreaming
everything.
about players like Isak last year. When we did shows last season, we were
I was, I
dreaming
was
of
yeah, I was talking about
these
Alvarez, and he told me about
Alvarez
Isak.
and Isak.
I said,
Exactly. We were like,
yeah,
oh, these are pipeline dreams, but we'll talk about it.
yeah,
And behold, we actually signed one of them, but we don't know how to use him. So make it make sense. I would never have imagined
it
our
would be
club
this
to be in a
bad.
situation right now. It's like if someone told me this in the summer, I'd be like, you're
Mm.
just chatting rubbish. You just got an agenda against my club. Like that's literally how I'd feel.
Yeah, yeah.
It doesn't make sense. It's like it's not even like there's one issue here. There's
Multiple.
multiple issues that this is not an easy fix. Even if we get a next
It's
coach in or
unfixable, bro.
whatnot,
It's unfixable, bro. I'm telling you,
yeah,
man. A lot
it
has to. We're in that situation now. A lot has to leave for us to come back. A lot,
yeah, yeah,
not
a
just
lot,
one person. A lot of people have to leave.
yeah,
It's like a
for the
virus. You know what I
cannibals.
mean? It's spread to about
Mm,
4 or 5 people. Yeah, it's
yeah,
going still. It's going. We have to stop it. We have to stop it somehow.
mm.
Otherwise, we're going to end up like Man United, and we don't want to be going there.
I hate to say it, I'm getting those kind of vibes because
Yeah, man.
the way United were rolling, they were buying players just to appease the fans. They were buying names just for the sake of
Yeah.
it, but with no identity. The only difference that maybe we have a better strategy in terms of recruitment, but we could still get the recruitment wrong. And if the
Yeah.
recruitment's wrong based on what the coach
I
wants,
don't
then
think the
that's a
recruitment
problem as
is
well.
wrong. I don't think the recruitment is wrong. I think the
Yeah, I
coaching.
don't think so either. I don't think so as well.
I
I
would
feel
have
like
done the easy. I would have done the easiest solution to that transfers when we first bought them. Slowly
mm,
integrate them into the team. Don't push them all out
exactly.
at once. And
Yes.
that's the mistake that he did. And not only that, he wanted to get rid of the identity of Jurgen Klopp. I mean,
Yeah.
because people kept on asking him again and again, you've won the league with Jurgen Klopp's team. You won the league with Jurgen's tactics. You won the league with this from Jurgen, from Jurgen, from Jurgen. When you keep hearing that, it drives you crazy.
Yeah,
But some people can handle it, the smart people, because they will
yeah,
slowly get rid of that, Jurgen thing, and then implement their ideas as time goes on. But he didn't
yeah.
even give himself time to do that. He just thought like,
No,
I'll buy new players, I'll change my whole way of playing, and then we'll work
yeah.
it out in the pitch because we could outscore other teams. It didn't work. It
Even like
backfired.
the players you mentioned, where you slowly transition them, it's the same with your tactics. Your
Exactly.
tactics can't just be 360 spin and then boom, new way of playing. It doesn't work like that. You have to embed those tactics slowly as well with the profile players that you sign.
Spot
Like
on.
the likes of Kirkes should not have been a starter for me. I know
Hell no.
Robertson didn't have the best of seasons, but he's an experienced figure. And then you can rotate him and then, ease him in, and then
Yeah.
he becomes a
Yeah.
star because as
Hmm.
soon as he played against Bournemouth in the opening day of the season,
Lord have
he just looked
mercy.
like a
Stop for
hothead.
that. Stop for that.
Just not it at all. And then Verts, it's been evident he's not quite up to the physicality of the league. So you slowly embed him, playing for 20 minutes here and there. Like, if this is where man management comes into it. Klopp was the best at that because when he bought players like Fabinho was a tank when he came in, but he wasn't ready to play the Klopp way. He wasn't
The
ready
physical
to
side of the Premier League was too much at the time. Yeah.
exactly. So you have to slowly get them involved because now you've put them in a predicament where they're in the firing lineup, they're not performing, but
Yeah.
then now you've heightened the pressure on them even further, and it's
Yeah.
very hard to just you know put that to one side. Now,
Imagine you
not just
take a
Liverpool
player in
fans,
and out. Ozzy, imagine you take a
yeah,
player in and out. When is that player say, enough, I've got to start performing now. I can't do
yeah,
this in it. You get what I'm saying? You got to give
mm,
them that kind of, anger. They need that anger, like Klopp used to say. I have to make them angry for them to be hungry. And
yeah,
he's right. He's 100% right. But this guy is a maniac, mate. He's a madman. Right? He's just
yeah,
making mistake after mistake. So much so, he looks like a 10-year-old coaching an adult team.
yeah. He doesn't know what he's doing at all. Honestly, doesn't know what he's doing.
And we're the
Excuse
type
me.
of fans that's positive. You know what I mean, bro? We're not even that type of fans, guys. I swear to God, we're
No,
not
we're
that type
not.
of fans. We're
We're really
positive
not.
people. Trust me, guys. We will
Yeah,
put things to the back burner just to like keep the team going, and we can't even do
I
that.
know. I know people in the chat have mentioned some channels that are still like slotting, for example, but of course, certain channels will have commitments or certain agendas where they've got relations with the club, so they can't be too vocal. But
Exactly, bro. Come
y-
on,
so
come
you
on.
you know what is there. But in terms of content channels like myself and you,
Mm.
we do it based on what we see and what we feel, and
As a
there
true
is no
fan should be
agenda.
saying, yeah,
Yeah, there is no agenda. I'm not a Liverpool fan if I have an agenda from the start, if that makes sense. For me,
yeah.
it's about what I'm seeing on the pitch. And for me, we just haven't been good enough. And I'm analyzing why we haven't. And I think the manager is the issue. So, if people disagree, that is fine. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. But if I'm wrong, why are the results not improving? Why are we not improving as a team in terms of performances? Why are we losing? You know, well, I know we drew, but I felt like a loss yesterday. The
From
way we
winning
lost we drew
positions, yeah, from winning positions, yeah.
from
Yeah.
winning positions. So,
It's not
making
like
me
we was
question.
2-0 up in the first half. We was 2-0 in the
Yeah,
second half. So you got 45 minutes, second half. Only
yeah,
45 minutes. Only
yeah.
45 minutes.
Yeah, 'cause we
And we're
scored those
still
two
fucked up.
goals in like 2 minutes. So yeah,
Yeah.
literally. Oh, but also, is it just me that the players being open to the fans is the fans that gives them all this money? Um, I don't like players being too open. Just like I don't like my manager being too open either. My manager talks too much. If you ask me,
Yeah, too
uh,
much, man.
but when you represent a club like Liverpool, you are representing the club, the city, the people. So you have to conduct yourself in a professional manner. It can't just be all guns blazing. It's not that type. We're not just. It's not just personalities. It's not that type of that kind of format. You have to speak respectively in terms of the people you work for, your players, and so on. You can't just be too open in every shape or form. Sometimes you've encountered a poor defeat. Emotions are high, so you can't express yourself. Of course, you can. We're all human. But
Yeah, yeah.
what Salah did was a bit past the line. That is not the line you crossed because too much was said. That's something you say when you retire and then you do a Netflix special and you can reveal everything, right? That's when you can you can open the book,
Yeah,
and not as an active player that's still there. That's too
yeah,
much. It's unheard of. So you don't really do that. And of course, yes, the fans, we buy those shirts, we buy the merch and all that sort of stuff. But we are invested in the team, not in the players' interviews in terms of what they got to say. We're not invested in that. That's not really part of why we're fans. We're fans because we love our club, and of course the players are part of it. But no player is bigger than the club, if that makes sense. So
yeah,
you have to. There's a way of carrying yourself, just like when you go to work, you don't completely express yourself how you feel. Like your manager might be annoying you, but you ain't gonna tell him to his face that he's a
yeah.
prick or anything like that. So you got you got to carry yourself a certain way, right? So it's the same, in the professional game as well. Bo
Hundred
says if
percent.
a player don't like a coach, do the fans should know? What do you say to that,
Nah,
Frederick?
nah, we don't need to know that, man. Big clubs, they don't do that, do they? There are big,
No,
small clubs, you understand, but big clubs, no. Big clubs always keep things in house. We did it. That's what Yoga brought back to the football club, Aussie, and the
there
chat.
you go.
He brought back that, that togetherness. That because if you start blurbing that thing, then the togetherness is no longer there. So when you look at that, what Salah did, the togetherness is not there. But the idiots, let me just tell you something.
Yeah,
Some idiots think this is going to get Arne Slot sacked. No, it went the other way now. Arne Slot is staying. It looks like, and they're going to back him. So it could be Salah that's
yeah,
leaving. So it's not. It wasn't even a smart decision now. Now
yeah. It was
that's on him. Because Michael Edwards is that type of person, isn't it? He doesn't like old players being at the football club. He's one of those people
doesn't.
that's against things like that. He did that with Klopp. Remember, that's why him and Klopp actually had a row
Yeah,
because Henderson, isn't it? They gave Henderson a contract.
it's in a mill now.
So yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So I mean, it's backfired in a big way, and everybody was saying after yesterday, "Oh, Salah did the right thing. Now he's going to quicken Arne Slot leaving." No, he didn't, because the focus from Arne Slot is gone now.
it is. Salah's a talking point, and not in a good way either. So, oh God. Okay.
People forgot about that,
Yes.
didn't they? No, nobody's talking about that. We're not even talking
No,
about Arne Slot anymore.
no, we're really not. It's all about Salah today. We've talked about Salah
Wow.
for 2 days. Bo is saying, that is what I'm saying. Klopp was right all along. Don't buy big players at the same time. Money doesn't mean success in football. In terms of the big players, I'm not going to say we shouldn't have bought the players that we bought. It's
I'm
just
happy
that
with them.
I'm, I've been saying a lot this last few weeks. I thought the players we bought were good players. They are
Yep.
not terrible overnight. It's just that how they're managed as well. And I feel like when Slot won the league last season, of course he got credit in the bank. But then people thought, oh, actually, Klopp was a good manager, but maybe he wasn't as good as we all thought because in terms of numbers, he didn't win as many titles as maybe
And
he
this
should have,
guy's
for
won
example.
the league with his team in it, with his players or something, with Klopp
Yeah,
players. They said, yeah, that's what they said, yeah.
but look at the team now. It shows you that Klopp was bigger than a coach. Because for me, Arne
Bigger
Slot
than the
might
coach.
be a good coach, but being a first team coach slash manager is a
Oof.
different ball game. He's not a manager. He
Nope.
doesn't know how to manage people. That is in your job title right there. You need to manage the people. He doesn't know
Exactly.
how to manage people. You're a coach, you're a tactician, you know how to set the training and all that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But then be a coach. Don't be the manager. That's my problem here right now. He doesn't know how to manage the people. And watching his press conferences, I kid you not, I get annoyed after watching his press conference.
I
He
don't know how you
like
guys do. I stopped 2 weeks ago, bro. I couldn't be asked
oh,
anymore.
but I think the last one I didn't watch because
Hmm.
I'm like, I can't be bothered, and I just looked at quotes online. But honestly,
It's like a child, bro. It's like a child speaking when I hear him.
yeah,
Like, yeah, it's
he-
sad. It's really, really sad. How can a Premier League winning manager like that, head coach, sorry, like that, go through, start talking like this? You know what I mean? When
yeah,
he's struggling, because we wasn't prepared for this, were we, Ozzy? Actually, in the chat, like we didn't think when things are going this bad, this guy would come out and say that what he's saying. We thought because last season we was calling it, like you said, genius and all this stuff. He ain't a
yeah.
fucking genius, that's for sure. Sorry about
He's
language, but
not.
he ain't a genius, that's for sure.
No, he's not.
He's
He's not.
dumb, man. Let me just put it that way. Sorry
He's
to
not.
say that, guys, but he is
Facts.
absolutely diabolical.
He's facts. But also, Stock wanted to show all of his new shiny toys at the same time. In terms of transitioning into a team, yeah, I agree. He did too much too soon there. Slot could have murdered 20 people and Wesley was still back in. Bloody hell.
Oh shit! I don't know.
um, Boss says, do you guys think all these players would have come in if Klopp was still here? 100%. I think all of these
Dude,
players would have come on board.
what do
That
you mean?
Slot,
Klopp can
I
get
think
anyone he wanted. He just didn't have the money.
he wasn't given the backing. Simple as that.
Yeah. He said it in that interview, you know, with that guy, with that Man United fan guy. He said,
Yeah,
he
yeah,
said, I didn't know I could spend this much money, but I understood because they were building stands. That's what he said. So
yeah,
basically, since Klopp has been at Liverpool, they were building things at the time. They were trying to make the big
yeah,
club bigger. So he never had that opportunity where Arne Slot has got now. And it's just unfortunate because we don't know what he could have done. I mean, the guy was doing stuff with limited resources and still producing trophies, but it was the consistency was the only thing that was missing. Unfortunately, Man City had all that money and they could
yeah.
spend whatever they want. You know what I mean? So, as he said
Mm.
many times, but carry on, bro.
Yeah, it's true. Boss says, no, not like that, but would FSG do it? Well, the thing with Klopp was, of course, he had not an issue, but there was the relationship between him and Michael Edwards was not the same due to having disagreements about giving older players like Fozzie mentioned in terms of your Henderson Milner's new contracts. So there was a breakdown in their relationship. So that's what led to Edwards leaving and Klopp getting more authority. But who knows? Because the last couple of seasons when Klopp was here, Klopp brought in the likes of Szoboszlai. So he still spent money, but will he have got the full backing? He should have. But William, I,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's one of those
But we're
where
forgetting, you know, the Superstars, the Gravenberchs, all that stuff. It was due to money that we sold players like Fabinho's and
you
all
had
that
to
stuff.
sell. Yeah,
So
you
money,
had to sell.
if you look at the net spend, it was same amount of the players we let go. But I think we got rid of a lot of players like Clark and Fabinho and these youngsters in it from the youth level. And if you add up the money, it was the
Yeah,
same amount of money we got Superstar and all them for. So
true.
we didn't really
True.
spend anything.
No. But also, Slot tomorrow will be saying that we have not lost in 3 games. Slot's one of those guys where, even if you knock him out, let's say we're talking boxing. If you knock him out, he's got excuses for days in terms of why he got knocked out. Like, he'll never admit defeat and he'll never give credit to other players. That's Slot. He's just got excuses for days.
Yeah.
Fine, for Australian. I'd punch him up as well. Uh, uh, Mo says, what is it with Slot that they trust to give him all this money? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why they trust him with all that money because he's completely changed the script in terms of how we play as a team. Like I don't know if he's built this team with the mind that he wants to win the Champions League. I don't know because a lot of the players that we've
Yeah,
signed are
he did say that though. They asked him, "What do you want to win the champion?" I
yeah,
think when the league finished, they asked him, "Do you want to win the Champions League or the Premier League?" He said, "The Champions League." So there you go.
really. So
Yeah,
that's not good enough for me
poor
because
mentality that is poor mentality,
yeah,
especially for Liverpool who want the league. They want 21. We all want 21.
yeah.
And we was already discussing next season's parade, didn't it, Ozzy?
Do you know what? We were saying, oh, do you know what? Next time I'm not gonna do a day. I said it too. I said I'm not gonna do a day trip next time. I'm gonna book a hotel. Yeah,
Hotel, bro. Everybody said that. Oh, brother, what a shame. What a shame, man. What a
that is not
shame,
happening.
man.
That
And
is
people
not
were
happening
saying it's
anytime
going to be
soon.
2 million people up turning up, not 1.5 this time.
Yeah.
I mean, because it's 21.
Oh
Yeah,
gosh,
what a shame. What a
what a
shame,
shame.
man.
We had the opportunity to, make that happen, but dropped the ball.
It's
Ball
a sad
says,
thing.
"Slot, it's so sad. Honestly,
We had
FSG
the
didn't
opportunity
bring
to
it.
get rid of Arteta's and Pep Guardiola's this
Yeah,
season. It could have been their last season, and
yeah,
we can't even do that now because Arteta's going to be happy if he wins the league.
yeah,
Hopefully, he ain't. But because you don't spend
yeah.
all that much money and have 3 players for every position without
Yes,
being, this is your last season to try it one more time. It's like giving it a go,
yeah,
innit, Ozzy? It's like, let's give it one more try, see what we
yeah,
do. And, it could have backfired if Liverpool was still in form. But don't forget, if we beat Nottingham Forest, Man City,
yeah,
Sunderland, and Leeds, we could have been top of the league.
yeah, yeah. We weren't like in terms of the points, we were not far off. We really weren't. It's just that we are so inconsistent as a team. We literally don't know what team turns up,
Yeah,
and whatever team turns up, there's still frailties in how we play.
yeah.
Because literally, you're right about Arsenal in terms of Arteta, where they have literally gone and literally thrown in
All
the
that.
kitchen sink. They've backed the managers, be like, look, let's
Yeah.
go for one hurrah. And look, this would have been the perfect time for Liverpool to capitalize because you've got a Man City that are in transition. They're not the same team as from prior years.
It
You've
looks
got
like Pep
Arsenal,
Guardiola is Pep Guardiola is because if you look at the player profile, that's not
yeah,
Pep Guardiola profile.
no,
Jakey and all these
no,
guys. It looks like he's building a team for the next manager, as Jurgen did, if you know what I mean. But
yeah,
Jurgen actually bought players that's profile of Liverpool, with the
yeah.
guys who have Soboslai and that.
Whereas
So
these
that's what
players,
it
I
looks to
think, is
me.
bought is maybe for the Premier League rather than the Pep style of play,
Yeah,
if that makes
yeah,
sense. So,
yeah, yeah.
oh, this was the perfect time for us to capitalize, honestly, because we won
Honestly,
the
man.
league unexpectedly last year. Like,
Yep.
look, if we did win the league last year, I don't think we would be
Oh,
annoyed about it as much
going
as
crazy about it. Yeah,
yeah, because the expectations were low from all of us, as in
hundred
like
percent.
not low like we are right now, but low as in if
New
we get
manager
top four,
vibe and all that stuff. Yeah,
yeah, like if we get top four, that's a success for this manager because he's filling in big boots. He's coming into a new league.
hmm
He's a
hmm
young manager. And everyone likes to say, we'll give him time.
yeah.
But look, when you've won the league title, the expectations have changed. The objectives of
And you
next
spent half
season
a
has
billion
changed.
on top of that. And you spent half a
And you spent
billion on
half
top
a
of it.
billion, which we've never ever done in our whole history. We've
Nope.
never spent that amount of money ever. This guy, honestly. Bo says Slot saw all the local and youth players Klopp brought up and just sold in 5 seconds. An awful
He did.
manager.
He
He
did.
did. Doesn't have faith with the youth players. That's another thing that
Yeah.
I don't like about this manager. Where, firstly, I think from a fan's point of view, I don't. I think there's a disconnect between the coach and the fans. I don't know. You might have a different opinion. I don't feel a connection with
Mhm.
this individual at all.
No, I don't. I don't. I said
Yeah,
that many times.
yeah. There is a
We had the connection with Klopp. We had the connection with Benitez,
yeah,
Kenny, of course. Before that, Gerard Houllier, you
yeah,
could say. Roy Evans
yeah.
was he was part of the boot room. Only the ones we didn't have a connection with is the ones we didn't like, which is Roy Hodgson and
Yeah,
Brendan Rodgers. You know what I mean? But the rest we had connections with.
exactly. And during even the managers that you've mentioned, we've always had a phase where a young player through the ranks has been given an opportunity, whether it's cup games or whatnot. That's something we've always embodied as a club to give the youth players an opportunity, whether they're scouts or not. If you see a young player coming through the ranks, they need a pathway to get into the first team. And when we see a player come through the ranks and they play for the first team, the support is unconditional. Like we want them to do well. We've got a young player, Rion Gamo, who's in the squad all the time, but he's not getting any games. So I've said it from the start. If he's not going to play, let him play for the under 23s. Let him, learn his trade or send him out on loan. Whatever you want to do, the boy needs to learn to sharpen his tools, learn the trade, and develop. He's a young kid. There's no point of having him on the bench and barely using him and only bring him on when we need someone to rescue us. Don't ask a 17-year-old to rescue us. That is not acceptable. You are putting too much pressure on the young kid, and he's not in a position to do that. And I just feel like this is poor man management skill. And then the Crystal Palace game for me just done it. That this guy doesn't know how to manage youth players, where you have a team mix of experienced slash young players, and then you've got a bench full of youth academy players.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
who do we turn to? Who do we turn to? This guy's lost it. He's
It's
he's lost it.
beyond belief. It's beyond belief what you see, man, from a senior
Yeah,
coach. Especially what he said
it's
about Rio and Gomo in the preseason. He said um, the reason we didn't sign a winger because we don't want to be in the path of Rio to develop as a player.
yeah.
So what have you done to him since? You bring him on when we're 3-0 down against Nottingham Forest. What's he gonna do in the second half? Like, come on, man! Like, you gotta be serious here.
And I don't
Yeah,
mean to be rude,
it's a mess.
but when a man just says that out loud, that screams to me small club mentality. It's not a big club mentality to say that, oh, we're not going to sign someone to block because it might block someone's pathway. If that kid is good enough, he will excel. He will display someone in the team. You don't
Right.
have that kind of notion that, oh, this kid. He was 16 at the time. He's not supposed to be anywhere near the first team. So for me, and then we've sold the player Luis Diaz for 70 odd million, and then you're saying this is the guy to cover for him.
And you kept Chiesa and you're not even playing him. So what's the point? Like, what is
Oh,
the smart decision in this? There's no smart. The guy is dumb, man. I told you guys
he's
already.
done. He's done.
He's dumb. It's not even like it's not even a joke. Dumb. He's actually is dumb. You
He
know what I
is.
mean? And
Like, nothing he's done this season, I can give credit for. There's
nope.
not a single thing. And that's not me being angry with this guy or I've got an agenda. He's done nothing correct. And I don't want to hear, oh, he's got credit in the bank because of last season. That's last season. Talk to me about this season. What has he done? He's done absolutely nothing. He really hasn't.
You
Terrible
got asked
manager.
at the Carabao Cup for what exactly? If someone sits
Yeah,
with him
for
and
what?
asks him that question, what was the point us getting out of the Carabao Cup?
Yeah.
I mean, if we beat Palace, we could have been, was it in the semi-finals or quarter-finals, whatever it was, and
And such
then
a small
it could have, yeah,
pathway
it
to
could
win
have.
that cup.
There you go. It could have given us a confident boost if we was
Yeah.
in the final, something to fight for. So every player will say, you know what, I want to play in the final, so let me fight for my place, as we
Yeah.
go along. You don't even give them that opportunity. You took them out.
And you know how it goes. You've been a football fan for a long time. When a team is going through a bad spell in the league title, the cup competition always
Yep,
becomes an escape
yep.
where it's a fresh mind, it's a different competition, a different form of football. That's where you can actually gain some confidence, and then it helps your league form going forward. We've done the complete opposite here. We threw the cup, and then our young players are probably thinking, "Oh, I'm never going to be a first team player."
Exactly.
That poor kid, Nano, two penalties, two red cards. What's he going to do going forward? Like you've literally shattered the kid's confidence, and there's other players on the bench thinking, "I'm not good enough to be here." Like he didn't even
Exactly.
play me in a
Exactly.
situation where we were 3-0 down.
Exactly.
He doesn't know how to manage a club. He's the wrong person altogether.
As I said,
Both is
many of us Aussie are football people.
yeah,
We might not coach in the game anymore, or
yeah,
we might not participate in
yeah,
anything. But if you watch football, for me, like I'm coming to 40 years
yes,
now. I've
yeah,
seen it all. I've seen the good, I've seen the bad, and I've seen the ugly. This is one of the ugliest things I've ever seen. And this head
yeah,
coach, the way he behaves, guys, is such an amateurish way. It's unreal, man. He's destroyed, like you said, you made a great point. He's
mm,
destroyed a lot of those kids' confidence. And not only
yeah,
that, the team he picked that day was beyond diabolical. He put Chiesa out front on his own, no one supported him. If
yeah,
that doesn't show you how bad of a head coach this guy is,
yeah,
I don't know what will. And then he used the excuse after the game. What did he say? He said, yeah, but we normally play with kids in these kind of games. Yeah, if you look at the Southampton game, I swear there's about 4 or 5 senior players in there,
yeah,
not one or two.
exactly.
So stop making up lies. He just lies as well, man. Come on, man.
It,
Like you got to be.
it's it's the delusion, or it's not a delusion. It just comes up with so much waffle that it's just like you're just talking out your arse now. Like you don't know what you're talking about. And yes, we play with because, of course, that is what the formality is. You give your young players an opportunity to play the professional game in those cup competitions, but you have an experienced bench. You always have an experienced bench. When things don't go well, they need an experienced figure to come on and give them the guidance to play that
Exactly,
game.
bro. Like
It's as
Jota used
simple
to
as
when he
that.
used to be on the bench as a secret weapon, and Jota used to come off the bench. What did Jota used to do? Score the winning goals and then winning
Yeah,
penalty. That's what Jota
yeah.
used to do. Rest in peace, Jota. That's what I'm saying.
Rest in peace. No, it's true. It's so true. Bo says, what is Rio gaining from sitting on the bench every time? Let him play. Yeah, agree. That's literally what we just said.
Loan him out,
There's
man.
no
Loan him out.
Yeah, loan him out. Like whether it's a championship or League One team, like he just needs to play men's football. I feel like for him to excel. Um, but that doesn't even seem like that's the plan right now. Uh, Bo says there's no connection from Slot to the youth players, the team or fans. Yes, I agree. But he has the connection to the board. Yeah. He has good. He has the connection to the board. God knows why, but yes, he does. Unfortunately, we'll
Money,
get
money,
will
money.
will Slot get sacked this season at any point? I've said no. I think Salah has granted him because of his comments
Oh
until the end of
damn.
the season. How do you feel about that, Foz?
I think he's gonna get sacked because the results ain't gonna change anytime soon. And there's one
When do
thing
you
about
think
FSG:
when do you think
if you
he'll
don't
get
make the top,
sacked?
yeah, if you don't get the top four, I mean, if you look
Mm,
like you're out of the top four, right, and you could still
mm.
reach it with another manager, they'll take that opportunity.
Do you think there's a time frame in terms of when he could get sacked, or are you not sure? Is it based on results?
I think they're going to give him until the end of the month, and if the results don't change, he'll be gone. This is one of the months that football comes thick and fast, my brother.
Yeah, it does. You're right.
And if he doesn't get the results right now, the table doesn't change, and we're going lower in the bottom half, he'll be gone. But the thing is, what people need to understand is, if you look at the season so far, we've been drawing and losing to the bottom half of the table.
I know.
Now we're going to play better teams. We had the opportunity to capitalize on that. We didn't take it. Now we're
Yeah,
going to face better teams. We're going to be in more vulnerable situation now.
that's a valid point. Because literally all the recent teams we played, because when we do match previews, I try and do my research in terms of where they are. Every team has either been 17th or 18th in the last few weeks. Like West Ham were 13th or 17th at one point. Nottingham Forest were around that same position as well. Leeds United were 18th. So we are playing against teams that are in the relegation zone,
Exactly.
and we still can't beat them. Well, I know we beat
And we're
West
going to
Ham,
beat
but
them. So now you're going to face better teams. How are you going to beat them?
yeah, I hope we get sacked soon. Honestly, it's too far gone. I feel like there's no more excuses to be fair, but we'll see what the owners do. Bo says lose the three Champions League games he goes. I think no in Champions League. 'Cause I don't. I'd want it to be where my guess was that if he if he doesn't get the results this coming week against Inter and Brighton, he might be dismissed. But because of this Salah thing, I have less confidence that he'll get sacked now. I don't. I'm not saying I want that to be the case. It's just because FSG
Yeah.
will look at it from a
And
business
make an
point of view.
example out of Salah. Yeah.
Yeah, and then feel like, look, we'll gain money from Salah, and we can do this and that. And I feel like they'll just be like, look, we're not too far away from top four. We're only 5 points or whatever the number is. And I feel like there's hope. But for me, it's fake hope because it's not where we can climb up the table. We keep going back. It's always one step forward and two step backs, or maybe even three or four now. That's how we are moving. So that's not good enough for this club. We can't be, yay, we're doing good, and all of a sudden, oh, dark times. Like that, literally how it feels every week. So I don't know. Hopefully, FSG get the act together. And to be fair, we shouldn't have to give a deadline for this coach. If he's not good enough, get rid of him now. Try and find someone in, whether it's Steven Gerrard or whoever the name is. Just get someone in as soon as possible because right now this is not acceptable going forward. Wayne says, "Big up Aussie, Fozzie, and chat. As long as Slot keeps us in touching distance of top four and in the Champions League, he won't be sacked." That's what I've been saying, Wayne. That's my concern. But if we get some bad results this month, I'm hoping that is the nail in the coffin. But no guarantee, unfortunately.
Everyone was asking
Oh,
Chiesa, why did you stop that goal, man?
it's true. Literally, he saved his job, didn't he?
Just pull a hammy,
But
they said. Pull a hammy in the halfway line, man.
I know, or just like flick it back in like you're about to fall down or something. And just oh, sorry, I slipped. But yeah, Chiesa, man, too much of a professional in that moment. He had to be a little bit smarter there. Bo
It's
says
so
top
sad.
four is not good enough. Liverpool fight for titles. I agree. Wayne says agree, but they want Champions League money. Yeah, that's the thing. If we get the Champions League money, then it's not Stanley's job for them, but for us fans, unfortunately, he hasn't. But Fozzie, big up yourself for coming on the show. I
Anytime, bro.
appreciate your
Anytime,
time
man.
as always, man. But yeah, I'm sure we'll be speaking a lot more.
Yeah.
Hopefully, um, we'll be doing a celebrational show. It sucks that
Of
sounds
him
a bit
leaving,
dramatic,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah,
I hope they pull the
it has.
cord, man. Yeah.
Hopefully, I hope they do. But yeah, appreciate you coming on. And sure,
Anytime, brother.
I'm
You
sure
take
we'll be
care, brother.
speaking
Yeah.
soon. Man. Take care,
Take
bro.
care,
Speak soon.
everybody. Speak
Cool.
soon.
Take care, bro. Big up to Fozzie as always for coming on. Before we close the show, I forgot we had a rumor to talk about. Um, and let me try and bring on the screen. It's Ibu Konate. So the source was called Football Insider. So they said that Liverpool will accept an offer of about 50 million for 26-year-old France defender Ibrahim Konate in January if they can find a replacement. So The first part got me excited because I'm thinking, bloody hell, 15 million. Yeah, I'd take anything right now to get rid of that defender. But to say if they can find a replacement, I think we need two replacements. It's not just one because Leon is not available. We have a gap in our squad. So for me, ideally, I'd want it to be two defenders that come in. But I sound greedy when I say that out loud. But in terms of Kanate, look, if we can cash in on him, cash in. I think he's been that dreadful where we need reinforcements in the defense. Whether we get the profile that we want, I'm not sure. Obviously, Mark Gay is still an option. Some fans are telling me that he could be. He it's a possibility he'll join. Maybe because of our season, I don't feel as confident anymore. I don't know if he will join Liverpool anytime soon, and even next summer, I don't think is guaranteed. To be fair, so in an ideal world, you wouldn't want to sell Konate because then you're putting yourself in a more of a tricky situation in terms of numbers. But he's been woeful. Like we need reinforcements. If that means signing two centre backs in January, I'd be over the moon. But whether we will or we won't remains to be seen. But I think in terms of this link, I don't know if there's any truth to it. Um, it'll depend on how the negotiations are going as well. Because if there's a complete breakdown, then they could cash in because then you assess the situation. He doesn't want to sign. He's playing terribly, so let's get rid of him. That would make the logical sense. Unfortunately, in business, not especially when it comes to FSG, everything is not logical. Um, but if it was my choice, I'd probably release him. Not release him. I'd probably get rid. I'd take that 15 million and reinvest into the squad. But let's see if that happens. Bo says get a boot out. I agree with that. Bo says, if Slot wants to win, this is the only team. Ali, Bradley, Gomez, Virgil, Robbo, Endo, Sobozlai, Jones, Verts, Ekatike, and Chiesa. I hear you. I think that's something I'm kind of swaying towards is put Joe Gomez at centre back. Now that you've got Conor Bradley back and Frimpong should be back in a week or two. So he's not too far off from being part of the first team mix again. Um, I would go for a completely different formation if I'm being honest with you. I'd go for a 4-4-2 diamond. I've been saying this for quite a while. And I'd want us to play two strikers. So I'd go with Ekatike and Isak. But at the same time, I do feel like Chiesa deserves a run at some point as well. Um, whether he will remains to be seen. When I say with this thing with Salah, I think Virgil van Dijk might be gone in the summer if a centre back comes in Jan and Van Dijk is bench is gone. Yeah, I I can see us possibly signing a centre back in Jan and then Virgil deciding to leave next summer and then we sign his long term successor next summer. So then we end up having two centre backs. But for me, that's still not enough because that would leave us quite short in terms of the cover. Um, if Salah gets sold, then of course that will question his future at the club because he'll be like, look, if they treat Salah like that, they can treat me like that as well. So it goes both ways, and it goes in full circles as well. So we're going through a very dark time as a club. Most of Slot has ruined the club. Believers to doubters, yeah. Unfortunately, that is the case now. But that is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you to Ozan, Abdul, Bo, Felix, Musa. Who else do we have? JK, we got yourself, JK. Who else do we have? Wayne, Deluded Steve, and Fozzie. Appreciate Fozzie for coming on the show as well. Carlos, Handel, and Kieran as well. Appreciate your engagement as always, guys. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Now, in terms of upcoming shows, we'll have one tomorrow. We'll be doing the match preview of Inter Milan versus Liverpool. The press conference will take place tomorrow as well. So let's see what Arsenal has to say, and let's see how he addresses the Salah situation. We'll put it in the lineup, and then Tuesday we'll do the watch along of the game plus a match reaction of that game as well. So that is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Take care, stay safe, and I hope to speak with you all very, very soon. Goodbye.